Welcome to the Mike Missanelli Show on Monday, dreary Monday. It's raining, nasty out there. The cold weather should get warm by the end of the week. But baseball, oh my God, baseball is finally coming to us. Spring training, where we didn't pay that much attention because nothing really startling happened except you got a Ranger Suarez situation and whether the Phillies going to fill the bullpen and who that extra man is going to be, whether it's going to be Buddy Kennedy or Cody Clemens. And we finally look like we have a starting lineup. Everybody's wondering what the starting lineup would be, what the top to bottom would look like. As it turns out, it's going to vary. I have never seen anything like this, but apparently Rob Thompson is favoring platooning his leadoff hitters, depending on whether a lefty or a righty is on the hill. Against the right-handed pitcher, Kyle Schwarber, looks like would be your leadoff hitter, just like it was last year. And against a left-handed pitcher, it looks like it will be Trey Turner. There's a couple things here. Rob Thompson is a pretty static, stoic guy when it comes to this kind of thing. So the fact that he wants to vary it like this is very unusual in my book, and I frankly don't think it makes that much sense. Now, Rob Thompson's my guy, right? I don't criticize Robbie. Uncle Rob.
No, you don't.
But I don't understand that if you're going to commit to Trey Turner being a leadoff hitter occasionally, why would you not commit to him being the leadoff hitter all the time and having Schwarber as your cleanup hitter where you really don't have a cleanup hitter? And the other thing about this is I've been lauding Rob Thompson for his consistency with his players. I think he gets how his players' emotions are. Major league players are egotists in a lot of ways. They don't like being jockeyed around. They like coming into the ballpark knowing where they're going to hit. They're creatures of habit. And when you move them around, that indicates to a player that the manager doesn't have enough confidence in you to hold down your own spot. So it would be peculiar for him to do something like that. But in a way, it would almost play into the hands of Bill Colarulo, who says Rob Thompson never changes. So this is a radical variation from the Rob Thompson of old. So let me introduce Bill Colarulo. Bill, how you feel about this?
Well, good morning, Mike. Glad to have you back. Good morning, Ray. I hate it, Mike, because I don't think that it's a radical variation from what Rob Thompson would normally do. Basically, all summer and all offseason, they hinted that they were going to, well, not summer, I shouldn't say. It was really all offseason because we played until October. But all offseason, they hinted that they were going to make changes at the top of the lineup and they were going to give Trey Turner an opportunity. And what I really think they've done is he kind of bait and switched us a little bit. Like, all right, well, we'll try Turner just against left-handed pitching. And then what I think is going to probably happen is he'll do it for a couple of weeks, and then they're just going to go back to the same damn lineup they've done before. I just hate it. I don't understand why you don't just go in with a consistent lineup, give it an opportunity. And when I say an opportunity, I'm talking about a couple of months because you go back to 2023, they tried Trey Turner at the leadoff spot for 15 games. And when it didn't work, they immediately switched it. Like, as patient as Rob Thompson has been in other areas, why not be patient with a consistent lineup that doesn't have Kyle Schwarber leading off? Because now what you're going to have to do, and you touched on a little bit, but now what you're going to have to do is, against left-handed pitching, you're also going to have Harper batting second, Bohm batting third, Schwarber as your cleanup. Then when against right-handed pitching, you got to switch the entire top of the lineup because now Harper's not going to bat second because you're not going to go back-to-back lefties because Topper loves to mix that up. So you're going to go Schwarber and now Turner second, Harper third, Bohm back in the cleanup spot. It's just too much variation from day to day. I just think go with the consistent lineup. You talked about it all offseason. You were going to give Turner an opportunity. And in turn, what this can do is we've talked about what it can do for Schwarber as far as more runs batted in. I was looking forward to what it was going to do for Trey Turner. The guy is an over 300 hitter from the leadoff spot in his career. Maybe this sparks Trey Turner to be the guy you thought you were getting when you gave him $300 million.
What was his leadoff average in spring?
It wasn't great. It wasn't great. I think Turner, what did he hit? Like
162?
Yeah, it was like 170, I thought it was, something like that. But you and I both know you can't put that much weight into spring.
No, you can't, and it seems to be like a panic move by Rob Thompson. He knows what he has with Kyle Schwarber as a leadoff hitter. He has success. Whether you want to look at his numbers as non-success or not, the Phillies win when Kyle Schwarber is the leadoff hitter. So
I think that's overblown, though. Because
it is what it is.
But they're a good baseball team.
No, numbers don't lie, though.
I understand that, but they are a good baseball team. So when you look at the last 3 years where they're winning close to 90 games each year, 95 last year, 90 the year before, I think it was 87 the year before that, is it only because Schwarber was in the leadoff spot?
No,
or was it because you have a good baseball team?
It's not only that, but when a guy like that can get you off right away, it loosens the belt of every one of your players.
Oh.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Stop what you guys are like sophomores. I swear to God.
Oh, 10 o'clock Monday morning. Where are we going with this?
It loosens the load on everybody. It's like, oh, we can breathe. We can now take the bottom of the inning or top of the next inning if you're home, and we got a lead. We can play better with a lead. I don't know. Listen.
Wait, how many leadoff home runs did he hit last year? He set the record, right?
Well, it's not just his leadoff home runs. It's the at-bats he'll get subsequently in a game where he'll come up more times, and he'll give you more of a chance for sock. You know? So that's the benefit of having him hit a lot.
I understand that, but there's also a benefit to having him hit cleanup, and hopefully either Turner, Harper, or Bohm's already on base, and now when he goes yard, which you expect him to hit at least 30 home runs. He's done it every year. There's been a full season since 2018. That there's more guys on base.
Bill.
It seems like it's common sense, though.
If you're the manager and your team, with him as the leadoff hitter, won 95 games last year, are you going to be quick to change? You got to look at what a manager does. A manager has to rely on absolutes in a lot of ways. He goes, man, absolute. For crying out loud, we won 95 games with him as the leadoff hitter. Was that wrong?
And once again, I keep going back to it. If you didn't have Schwarber leading off, do you really think this team wouldn't have won a lot of games last year? They're still a great baseball team.
That's the unknown. The managers rely on known. The known for him is we're good with him in the leadoff hole. I would not platoon it. I certainly would not platoon it. I'd be more comfortable if he says, Schwarber, you're my guy. You're leading off. I don't want to change it. We're good when you lead off. Rather than this, I don't know what this is supposed to do except get guys all confused. That's the thing I have with the problem I have with this. So it's either got to be one way or the other. And I don't think that he wants to take away at bats by putting Schwarber in a hole where he's not going to come up in the first inning sometimes.
I guess you're right. It's possible that he's not going to come up to bat. But see, when you move Harper up to second, doesn't that in turn mean Harper gets more at-bats? So I get, if you don't have Schwarber leading off, that maybe he doesn't get as many at-bats throughout the course.
For the 2 to 3 and 1 to 4 are two different things.
Yeah.
You're a Thompson hater, man.
I'm not a Thompson hater.
You'll find a way to hate Thompson.
Look,
it's unbelievable.
I was being very positive yesterday. I hosted yesterday morning, and I was being very positive about the fighting Phils. Because I was looking at everybody in their lineup, and I'm not expecting any of them, maybe with the exception of JT Realmuto, to have a worse season than they did last year. Well, so you would think you won 95 games with that lineup.
I have a bad feeling about this year.
Well, and this doesn't help because you don't like the changing.
I don't like the jockeying. I like consistency. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, because I want to look at the whole lineup because this changes everything, Mike.
It does.
Every single day, you're going to change pretty much all top 7 spots.
We'll talk about the NCAA tournament as well as we're down to the Sweet 16. A lot of interesting games yesterday. Buzzer beater with Maryland beating Colorado State. And also, Rick Pitino's St. John's, what are they?
The Red Storm.
The Red Storm now. The Red Storm lose to Arkansas. And in this game, controversial thing happened. The best player, St. John's, rode to Pine for a long period in the last part of that game. It got criticized by a lot of people, including a guest we're going to have on at 11:30, the man who called the game. Steve Lappas, former Villanova coach who's making a name for himself as a commentator. He'll join us at 11:30. 610-632-0975. It's the Mike Missanelli Show back after this.
Tyrone Johnson.
We can't be so
It's 10:16, Mike Missanelli show. So how's everybody's pools? How's your pool there, Bill?
I don't want to talk about it.
No good?
I think I'm in last place in our Fanatic.
Oh, is that right? Ray, how about you?
I'm not in last place, so I'm feeling pretty good.
Are you?
I'm going to check. Where
You
are
are
we,
in
Ray?
last place. Don't worry, Bill.
I'm not?
No, you are.
Oh.
No.
I still got a shot, though, because I got Houston.
My entry did not get in.
Yeah, because you did it. You, like, hand-wrote it or something.
No, I didn't handwrite it. I put it in the link I had, the ESPN link that was sent to all of us. I put it in, and apparently it didn't register.
I think
It's okay. I don't think anyone's beating Kevin Cooney's bracket.
What? He's killing us right now?
Yeah, him and Rich right now are the only two people above 500 in the entire pool.
All right, I'm
No.
looking now. Oh, man, I am in last place.
You didn't believe me when I said it?
Listen, you're not a basketball man, all right? You're just not a hoops
Oh, my goodness.
man.
I am in
You
last.
don't have any feel for the hoop game.
Ray Dunn's not doing much better.
Really?
Yeah, I only have 70 more points than you, and I have to scroll to find you in this group, and I'm there at the top.
Well,
so.
you got 70 more points than me, but Kevin Cooney's got 70 more points than you.
Yeah, so the same distance from me to you is me to first place. So I'm a midway point for you trying to get back in this thing.
Well, in any event, the basket. I actually feel relieved that I'm not in the pool because I don't live and die with all these games. I can't watch it. I'm telling you, I'm basketballed out. I can't watch the game after game after game anymore like I used to be able to. I gotta do something else.
Now, shockingly, I've been a lot more into it than I've been in previous years. Because I had told you I don't get that excited for March Madness, but for whatever reason, I really dove in this year, and I've been enjoying it. And Ray said this on Friday, which was right. Like, Thursday's games weren't that great, but there's been some good ones now. And I still got a shot. Maryland was my pick out of the hat for our show if they make the Final Four, and they win on that buzzer beater, even though he traveled.
Yeah, he did travel, and we'll get Steve Lappas to talk about that one as well coming up. But anyway, right now, we're talking Philly. We got to get zeroed in because opening day is coming upon us. They're a good team. I look at their lineup. I go, they're good. I can't say that this team is not good. But you know what I feel about the Phillies is, when you keep putting your whites in the washing machine without a touch of bleach, they just don't come out as clean.
It's a good analogy.
And I think that the Phillies are in that state where the clothes are in the washing machine and they're not coming out as clean as they used to be. Like they're fighting with the same troops, and you can only fight with the same troops without a freshener.
You don't think Max Kepler's going to be a freshener?
I think he's going to be okay. I think he's a raker, but I don't know. They're just the dynamic is just still the same. And sometimes, even though your team's good, you got to change the dynamic around, whether it's changing a lineup or whether it's changing a personnel, whether it's interjecting a young kid in there, which I was an advocate for. And apparently, he's not ready. Justin Crawford will be starting the year at AAA. But like this change of switching off leadoff hitters is uncomfortable for players. And I think Rob Thompson, more than anybody, should know that. So I don't understand why he would. This is totally unlike Rob Thompson.
It is, and the problem, and we touched a little on it earlier, is changing the leadoff hitter. It doesn't just affect Turner and Schwarber. It affects at least the top 7 spots in the lineup. Because once you go Turner, he wants to do the lefty-righty as long as he can down the lineup. And then once you go Schwarber and you do the lefty-righty, like, for instance, if you have Schwarber lead off this season, and then you go Turner, Harper, Bohm, who's in the 5-hole?
Kepler.
It's got to be Kepler because you're not going to go righty-righty.
But Kepler also earned that spot.
All right, so then let's do it when Turner leads off and Schwarber's in the cleanup. Who's your 5-hole? Is it Realmuto? Is it Casti? So it's Realmuto or Casti.
Yeah.
So you see what it means? Like now we're all the way down to 7. Yeah, now we're all the way down to the 7 spot.
Yeah, and then you're bunching lefties.
And then you're going Stop Marsh at the bottom of the lineup.
Yeah, with Kepler now moved down a little bit.
So it affects almost everybody. So I don't just pick a damn lineup and stick with it. And let's see what happens for a little while. And you're right, this is very non-Rob Thompson. But is it a panic move? Like, why do you think he's considering this? Like, what would be the purpose of him?
I think he wanted to have Turner, and Turner doesn't look comfortable. I think these guys look at it, he's not. They didn't give him a long rope, but they have to react quickly. I can read him, veteran ball player, doesn't really like being in that spot, and so here comes the compromise. Players are when you talk about veteran players who make a lot of money, the temperamental side of them shows up every now and then when you don't really expect it. It comes out in different ways. And those guys can read that. Those managers, all those coaches.
And Ray, you know the answer to this. Opening day down in Washington. Lefty on the mound?
Yeah, Mackenzie Gore's on the mound for the Nationals.
Good
So it'll be Turner leading off.
So we'll see the Turner, Harper, Bohm, Schwarber top of the order probably.
Yeah.
Oh, now maybe that.
Now what if they win the game?
That's what I mean. Maybe that pays big dividends for.
And then what? They switch it the next game if there's a righty on the mound?
That would be the topic du jour for Sports Talk Radio, wouldn't it?
It would be. But look, he did this to Bryson Stott in the NLDS, where Stott has that triple coming off his best game, and yet they sat him. Let Sosa start the next one.
Stott no clout. Stott's still a young player. Stott ain't Turner.
Stott should be the leadoff hitter eventually, if he turns out to be the guy we thought he was.
610-632-0975. So many things happened over the weekend that we're going to get to. Little sound bites. A golfer who smashed a sprinkler head.
I didn't see that.
You didn't?
I saw the dude who had an octuplet bogey or whatever.
Octuplet. Why don't you Google sprinkler head smash? See what that guy did. That guy should be suspended. 610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Days away from opening day. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. We're just a few days from the Phillies opening up their season in D.C. against the Nationals. Today makes the final spring training game for the Phillies. Roster decisions already being made, and it's looking like Ranger Suarez will begin the season on the injured list, leading to Taijuan Walker being the team's fifth starter. Walker taking the ball today in the spring training finale. Johan Rojas has made the roster, and the Phillies claim reliever Carlos Hernandez on waivers. He was most recently with the Kansas City Royals. Last week on Fanatic Hot Stove Show, Jason Stark had high praise for this Phillies team leading into the season.
3 teams in the NL East: Phillies, Mets, Braves. Any of them could win. They all should make the playoffs. I think the Phillies, in a world where everybody is healthy, have the best roster and the best team.
We'll see what that turns into, as again, we are just days away from opening day down in D.C. Elsewhere in Philly sports, both the 76ers and Flyers lost yesterday. That's 4 losses in a row for the Sixers, 5 in a row for the Flyers. The Sixers return to action tonight in New Orleans against the Pelicans at 8 o'clock. You can hear it right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt at Marriage Who Does Your Taxes. At Jackson Hewitt, expert tax prep is now $149 or less. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/49-149. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
10:29. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fan. I'm a little sluggish today. You might pick up on that. A little sluggish.
Yeah,
A little stunad, as we say.
you had a long few days.
It's funny because I left Thursday's show. I went right to bed and stayed there for 4 days.
Yeah, it's tough.
And so when the games are on, I felt like Malcolm McDowell at Clockwork Orange with my eyeballs propped up by toothpicks, and game after game is coming on, and I'm just like, I felt like I was trapped. I felt like I was a prisoner.
Yeah, but at least
At
you're watching.
Guantanamo Bay, and they're playing NCAA basketball to get me unnerved.
Yeah, but at least you're watching basketball. They had him watching like torturous things. He was watching in
Who?
Clockwork Orange.
Well, yeah. Well,
This wasn't torture.
no. Well,
At least you got to watch some nice
you watch
things.
So many basketball dribbles, it becomes torture after a while. Right, game after game after game after game after game after game after game. I used to be able to do. I used to cover college basketball, so it was no big deal. But now it's like, I need something else. Give me a series to watch.
Ray was definitely tuned in like that, I'm sure.
Ray's,
I loved it.
Voluntarily.
Ray's 24. He's got that basketball energy.
Do you have that basketball energy, Ray?
I do. I don't think there's an event more created for someone in my exact state of life.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, I tried to watch as much as I could, but you got other responsibilities. You don't have any other responsibilities on the weekend.
Quite literally, my only responsibility this weekend was to watch college basketball.
I mean, I tell you, there's nothing like covering the tournament. Like if you're a basketball journalist and you're at all these games and you're going from one to the other, you're watching this one and that one, and you're grabbing the free food that they give you, and you're courtside and you're listening to all those coaches' conversations. You're charting how many F-bombs each coach uses. There's some foul mouth. In college basketball.
There are. And we're going to hear some foul mouth during
Yes,
the news
we
at
are.
noon, as I think.
Yes, we are.
But, Mike, look, obviously the March Madness gets all the attention. But there was another NCAA tournament.
Play it. Let me hear it.
There was another
Let me hear it.
What a dynasty.
It's easy pickings, man, with those guys. I predicted the winners. That Carter Starocki is a beast. That Mitchell Messenbrink, you can't beat him.
So here's what's great. You just told us that Thursday you left and you just stayed in bed for 4 days, right?
Yeah.
You were sick.
Yeah.
But you had the energy on Friday to text me
I did.
that Penn State officially clinched their
Yeah,
12th of the last 14 national titles.
They clinched it on Saturday, right?
Yeah. No. That was Friday you
Was
texted me.
Friday they
Oh, no,
clinched?
it was Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday
It was
morning
Saturday.
they had clinched it.
Oh, I'm sorry. On Friday you texted me that Penn State finished day one 20-0.
20-0
With
on day
10
one.
wrestlers headed to the quarterfinals.
Yeah, 20-0.
There was a big upset, though, in the wrestling
the
championships.
heavyweight.
The heavyweights.
Yeah. Well, that guy had. Wait, was he a professional and he came back?
He won a gold medal, I
Well, he
think.
won a gold medal and he came back to college?
I guess so. I got to be honest
Something
with you.
like that.
I only saw the
Yeah, I know.
quick highlight of it.
Yeah, because it was Penn State and you knew they were going to win. You had no interest in the actual subject matter.
It was pretty anticlimactic. I mean, everybody knew Penn State was going to win, and then they did.
I was stunned that they didn't get to like 10 individual national champions.
How many did they get?
That they were beaten. I think they got 3.
Ah, loser franchise. Or
But
loser.
the one guy,
This is bad.
the heavyweight
This is
who was
very bad.
who was supposed to win, the heavyweight got hurt, so he had a default, injury default.
Weak program they got there at Penn State. Weak, Ray.
So disappointing.
It is disappointing. Also, George Niang, our pal George Niang. I want to play this. Can we play this?
Yeah, I'm offended.
Bang, bang, George Niang. The minivan. Now, I don't like George Niang a little bit, but in this particular situation, he's trying to put Quentin Grimes in his place. Maybe Grimes is getting a little too big for his britches, scoring all these points. And Niang's one of those guys, as a journeyman, you got to keep these guys down unless you're like really a superstar. So he recognizes that he's been in the league for so long. So what? They're at the foul line here, Ray? Or
Grimes is at the foul line.
Grimes is at the foul line, and for some reason, Niang is beefing with him. So let's see if we can hear what Georgie is saying here.
That's what that is.
Sorry, Quentin.
Oh, he's got
Scratch on his arm.
He deserved it.
Yeah,
Come on, let's be honest.
He had it coming.
Hits the first free throw.
He probably scratched somebody else. Look at him. Still chirping.
No,
Look
but
at
again,
him.
he's had 3.
Look at him.
I feel like I should talk over the Nat sound so that George doesn't get fined.
Unfortunately, we're here to holla at Kate and not George Niang, but apparently George Niang is saying to him, yo, man, if Joel was here, you would stand in the corner.
Yeah, he said if Maxie was here, you'd be standing in the corner.
He goes, you just like me, you a journeyman.
Wherever you go next year, you're not going to get this.
Yeah. Yeah, if Joel was here, your ass be in the corner.
Your ass be in the corner.
If Tyrese is here, you're in the corner. You know what, though? Come on now. Put some respect on Quentin Grimes'
He
name.
offended your boy now.
Put some respect
George
on him.
Niang offending anybody is hysterical to me.
Well, what are we at now with Quentin Grimes? Look, and we've talked about this. He's not a star. I get it. But he has proven he is a professional basketball player. He belongs on a roster, and he belongs to have some minutes in games. He can score. He's gone now 8 straight games with 25 or more points. And I know somebody's got to score when you have nobody on the court. But I think Quentin Grimes has proven to be an NBA
I'm
player.
surprised Grimes didn't come back. There's so much you can come back at George Niang with. Like, oh, man, shut up. You built like a bag of onions. Right? Or go eat some chips, fat boy. You know, like
yeah, he could have hit him with that. But you know what? Quentin Grimes is a class act, man. He's not going to do that. He's not going to get to that level.
Bill's new man.
He's just going to keep scoring.
Quentin Grimes.
If you watch the video, he's chirping back very clearly.
Yeah, he is. I saw it.
What did he say?
You can't make out what he's saying.
He's going back at him, but I don't know what he said.
I gotta give-
a guy like Niang, you got to go right back at him. Come on, man. You got so much ammo.
Kate and Nala doing their best to avoid any sort of FCC violations.
Yeah, Kate Nala talking over it. In a season like this, let that moment breathe, Kate Nala. For crying out loud, it's the only highlight we're going to have. Trash talk.
Well, they got to be careful because they don't know if he's dropping F-bombs and things
If they
like
drop
that.
an F-bomb, then let the producer handle it. You got a button there. You can take that word out. 610-632-0975. We'll get to the text board after this.
Tyrone Johnson, Ricky Vitalico, and Silvana.
10:41. Mike Missanelli Show. All right, a couple of notes here. Looks like Cody Clemens has made the team for the Phillies. Buddy Kennedy's going to get moved, apparently. Trade him.
Another left-handed bat.
This is bad. You know, as a general manager, when your only outlet for a right-handed hitter off the bench is Buddy Kennedy, and that causes you to keep another left-handed hitter, you're not doing your job. You're not doing your job. I'm sorry.
Very critical of Dombrowski.
I'm seriously. You don't have a right-handed hitter off the bench unless it's Edmundo Sosa.
I'm trying to look, like, when you look at Dombrowski, and I said this last year, and unfortunately, when they're in the middle of a 95-win season, people were very angry about it, but I said when you look at what Dombrowski has done since he's gotten here, I know the guy's going to be a Hall of Famer for what he did before he came. And he's helped, I guess, build these teams. He did add some pieces, but it's been a little underwhelming, don't you think? Like, what Dombrowski has done. Because he inherited a lot of these guys. A lot of these bigger stars were already here before he got here, especially with the pitching staff. But haven't you been a little bit underwhelmed by what Dave Dombrowski's done?
He has kind of locked himself in with these veteran players. There's not much wiggle room. However, when you've had a left field problem for a lot of years and you've had an extra man right-handed pop problem for the last couple of years, that's what you got to rectify. Now, maybe you like Max Kepler, and that's all well and good, and maybe he'll hit lefties, and that's fantastic. But if he doesn't hit left-handers, who do you play as a right-handed hitter? You've got to cover your base there. You've got to be better prepared for that.
Well, it looks like the plan was Weston Wilson, which I know doesn't make you happy. I know,
Stop
but that was
That's
the plan.
Buddy Kennedy.
That was the plan. Weston Wilson, he gets hurt. So now what you're going to have is your right-handed bat is going to be Edmundo Sosa, who they're going to have to figure out, can he play the outfield? It's an issue.
But forget outfield. You're now messing with a guy who has to also play infield. You've got to have an outfielder who has some pop from the right side. It's not that difficult.
Well, they don't have it.
This thing ticks me off. This is why, like, all these little things are now bruising me.
Yeah, they don't have it, man.
Everybody here is all optimistic. I listen to all of them. I'm listening to all your conversations out there. Everybody's all with the Phillies. I can't believe the Phillies would be ranked down here. Phillies are probably. Yeah, I got a bad feel.
But when you say that, and Ray and I think talked about this a little bit on Friday, when you look on the national level, nationally, everybody's high on this Phillies team. Like, they're ranked in the top of almost every power ranking.
Pitching staff. I get their pitching staff, but what is the first domino to fall? That left-handed with the back problem. And now they got to reach out for a guy. They crossed their fingers again to sign the other guy, bring it in.
Who, Luzardo?
No, the new guy that they just signed.
Oh, Hernandez? Hernandez?
Yes.
Yeah, but he's not going to be. Strom's ready. The fact that Strom is ready is good.
Strong, Bill.
Well, you got
strong.
Strom, Romano, Kirkring, Alvarado. You feel good about. You hate Tanner Banks, Jose Ruiz, Joe Ross, and now, was it Carlos Hernandez? Is that his name?
Yes.
Guy throws heat, though, man. The guy throws heat. Did you see the press release from the Phils on him? I mean, obviously they're going to build him up, but they said, where was it? What was I looking at?
He throws 98, and he was released.
So among 128 major leaguers who have thrown at least 2,000 four-seamers between 21 and 24, Hernandez's average of 97.8 miles per hour ranks fourth in Major League Baseball.
He throws 98, and he was released.
Yeah, I guess that's not a great sign. But look, he's just another arm. He's probably not even here once Ranger comes back, because then you move Walker into the bullpen. Not that makes you feel any better. But Walker probably moves to the bullpen.
Hey, no, you're laughing at this like it's a big joke.
Well, here's what I think.
You and everybody, I heard Connor out there. I can't believe they underwrite the Phillies. Kincade the same way. All you guys.
Well, here's why. And I did the whole show yesterday about this. The reason I feel good about him is I forget sometimes, and I was talking to myself too with this, because I keep looking at the postseason. I forget that they've won more games every year over the last 3. And when you look at this lineup, tell me a player that you don't expect to have a better season this year in that lineup from what they did last year.
I don't know. The guys get older. Their reaction time gets slower.
But, Mike, Trey Turner hit 247 after the All-Star break. He's going to hit better than 247.
I don't know. Maybe Trey Turner's hit a wall in his career. Maybe Castellanos isn't going to be any better. I don't know that these guys, when you get older, get better.
All right, you got Castellanos is going to give you exactly what he always gives you. He's going to be streaky as hell, Mike. You know that. But he's going to have weeks where he looks like the greatest hitter in the history of Major League Baseball, and then he'll have weeks where he looks terrible. That's what he's going to give you. Do you not believe that Kyle Schwarber is going to hit 30 home runs again?
He'll hit 30.
All right, so you got Schwarber hitting 30. Bryson
He'll hit
Stott.
40.
Let's talk about Bryson Stott. The guy batted
I like Bryson Stott
245 last year.
I like Bryson Stott to have a comeback year.
Yeah, so Stott has a better year. I think Trey Turner, even though he finished the season 295, was not great after the All-Star break, so I expect him to be better for the life of the season. I think this is going to be a good year for Turner. I was hoping it was going to be in the leadoff spot. Alec Bohm made an All-Star game last year, was terrible after the break. I expect him to have a better season this year. So when you go up and down the lineup and you look at these guys, the only player that I see in that lineup that maybe has a down year for him would be JT.
Older also.
Exactly. But I feel like you have helped him by allowing Rafael Marchand instead of Garrett Stubbs.
I hope you're right. I'm not looking at those guys as bad players. I'm saying that to expect guys to be better, I don't know that you can do that at certain ages. They are what they are. And is that good enough? Yeah, maybe with the pitching staff. But then the pitching staff, is that going to be disjointed? Are guys going to get hurt? Is the bullpen going to be good enough from the 5th on down to carry some of the load that they're going to need to carry? I don't know. I don't feel good about it. I don't feel that they're better than the Braves or the Dodgers or maybe another team.
Let me try to make you feel better again. Mm-hmm. You believe in Zach Wheeler?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you believe in Aaron Nola?
Yeah.
What do you mean, Nola, you know what you're going to get from Nola.
You're older.
Yeah. Look, he'll give up some home runs. We know that. But here's where I feel great. From all accounts, everything we've seen in spring training is that Christopher Sanchez could be a dark horse for a Cy Young.
I have no problem with that at all. However, I do have a problem with this constant protection of the guy that he can only pitch at home. You're starting like he's your second best pitcher right now, right? If you're going to go righty lefty, he would be the guy that should pitch in Washington, right? No, they're going to hold him and make him the 4th starter so he can pitch home open.
Well, I know that's partially
tell
for
the kid to put the big boy pants on, go out there and beat somebody on the road now.
I know that's partially for him because he's better at home. But that could also be a little bit for the fans, too, because if not, who would have been the opening day starter? Would have probably been Luzardo?
Yeah, who cares? Who cares who it is? There's going to be some big groundswell because it's Christopher Sanchez? It's not Wheeler or Nola.
There's a lot of hype behind Sanchez right now.
There's not much hype behind.
Well, then let's talk about the other dude, Luzardo.
Uh-huh.
I know health's a big issue, but the guy looks good in spring training. Dude, I mean, this is how could you not feel good about a team?
I just made one little statement about put the big boy pants on the kid now. Let him pitch on the road, for crying out loud. It's not like the dinosaurs are going to come out and eat him like he's pitching in Jurassic Park.
He will. It's a 162-game season.
610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Days away from opening day. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Natural Lawn of America. Get free seeding every year. Call 800-FREE-SEED now. We're just a few days from the Phillies opening up their season in D.C. against the Nationals. Today marks the final spring training game for the Phillies. Some roster decisions being made. Ranger Suarez appearing to begin the season on the injured list, leaving Taijuan Walker in the starting rotation. Both Johan Rojas and Cody Clemens have been informed that they will make the roster, and the Phillies yesterday claimed reliever Carlos Hernandez off waivers. Last week on the Fanatic Hot Stove Show, Jason Stark had high praise for this Phillies team leading into the 2025 season.
3 teams in the NL East: Phillies, Mets, Braves. Any of them could win. They all should make the playoffs. I think the Phillies, in a world where everybody is healthy, have the best roster and the best team.
Now we get a chance to see that go out on the field on Thursday against the Nationals for the open of the 2025 season. Elsewhere in Philadelphia sports, both the 76ers and Flyers lost yesterday. That's 4 in a row for the Sixers, 5 in a row for the Flyers. Sixers return to action tonight in New Orleans against Pelicans at 8 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Penn 56, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. News at noon is coming up at noon. We'd love to take some calls. And one thing about me, man, I'm telling you, I can't exist without good conversation. I can't live without good conversation. I miss our phone callers so much, Bill. It brings me to tears. I'm going to break down like Danny Hurley after the game.
That's coming up.
Emotional. I'm talking about afterwards when he was emotional.
Oh, when he was up at the podium. I was thinking about something. Could you imagine if the Sixers moved on from Nick Nurse and they hired Danny Hurley? You would have two of the most emotional, non-traditional type coaches with Hurley and Sirianni.
Danny Hurley would blow up in 6 months in this league.
Could you imagine? But him and Sirianni, with how fiery both those guys are?
So I'm watching the tournament. I watched, obviously, a lot of the tournament. So my point is, I'd love to talk to you today about things, especially the Phillies and what are the tournament at 610-632-0975. It's like spinning the roulette wheel. Just think of it, how exciting spinning the roulette wheel is when you go to the casino. And it lands on 22, and you got. Maybe when you call our line at 610-632-0975, you'll get smoothly in. 22 will come up. The P will land on your call.
I think things are smooth now. I don't know. Yesterday they were smooth. Friday we had some issues, but I think they're smooth now. But, yeah, I'm surprised because I thought a lot of Phillies fans would have opinions about what Rob Thompson's doing with the top of the lineup.
Well, I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm just throwing my whole soul to technology. I don't know if the calls are coming in or not. I'm just saying, please try, because I know a lot of people have been defeated through this whole thing, and that's what pains me most of all. People go, we can't get in, so why call? But I thrive on conversation, Bill. I thrive on.
You need it. It's your lifeblood.
My lifeblood is exactly right. So I'm watching the tournament. How do you feel about the player or coach in-game interview for 2 questions?
I hate it in all sports. I hate it. I hate – you're not getting much anyway. You're annoying them. I don't like it in any sport, the in-game interview. I just think that save it for after the game.
Well, in any event, I think this was Lauren Shahadi, who I guess she does a good job. I'm not trying to – but they grabbed Brad Underwood, Illinois. They grab him. He's itching to get back into his huddle. She says to him this. Here's the question. Coach, a lot of turnovers there. How do you take care of the ball? He goes, by taking care of it. No, for you young people out there, you got to review that question in your head. How do you take care of the ball? Well, what do you expect? I think we need to caress it more. I think we need to give it a couple smooches on the cheek and then go for the tongue. What question? What are you going to elicit with that kind of question? And most of the questions are just questions that they're just trying to throw at them and hope they catch the ball and run with it. And none of them want to because they're busy.
Yeah, I don't like it. Right,
it's
awkward.
What I'm talking about?
It's awkward for everybody.
I do,
As a man in the business.
Yeah, that's not how you should phrase that question.
How do you take care of the ball, Ray?
By taking care of it. When you have the basketball, the object of the game is to not give that basketball to the other team unless you put it through the hoop.
You give it a little tickle in the crack.
Yes, I guess you could have asked the same question in a different way. A lot of turnovers. What are they doing to you defensively that has your guys confused? Something like that.
Yeah, it was an attempt to cut it short for time. That was a poor attempt to cut it short for time.
You promised to buy an ice cream after the game. You do things. Snowballs. It's 11 o'clock. You're listening to Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN and WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. 11:30, Steve Lappas, he called that big game, St. John's and Arkansas, where, again, Bill, it happened. Just like in the movie Heat, Pacino conquered De Niro.
Well, with Calipari?
The lesser actor.
With Calamad?
Conquered the more experienced guy.
It was a good game. Arkansas has some players, man.
Yeah, they got on a roll. All right, let's take a phone call because we got Dr. Mad Elf checking in.
We love Dr. Elf.
Dr. Elf, how you doing, buddy?
Gentlemen, how are you doing?
How are you?
Good. I'm only 2 elves into the day, but I'm glad, Mike, you're back from your IR designation, and I'm glad that works out well.
Well, thank you. I had little flu-like symptoms. I was in, I visited the toilet much this weekend.
We should have suspended Greg for today, by the way.
Why is that?
Because he called on Friday, and I made a big deal about it. I said, our favorite caller, and then when he comes on the line, he goes, "Good morning, gentlemen," and I use that term. What did he say, Ray? He took a shot at both. Loosely, yeah.
Yeah.
Took a shot at me, Greg.
Well, I apologize for
That's
that.
all right, Greg. We know it's your humor.
You know, what do you think about Alec Boehm? I mean, if he gets back to letting the ball get deep and hitting solid line drives to the gaps, that should be sufficient, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I like Alec. I think he's a good hitter. I don't have a problem with him. I finally accepted the way he hits, which is he's not going to yank a lot of balls for home runs. But, I'll take 20 home runs from him and driving the ball in gaps. I like him.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to be a power guy.
I don't have a problem with him. I think maybe he's learned a lesson. He's matured a little bit, even though he's like 29. or he should have matured 5 years ago. But he's the least of my problems. I like Stott and Boehm. I think Stott and Boehm give them a fresh look. I wish they would have freshened it a little more. That's all. With a little younger.
I just don't know. And look, this is funny because we've kind of changed. I was critical of Dombrowski at the deadline last year. And you were kind of, hey, well, what did you want him to do? And I look at this summer. I keep saying summer. This offseason. What could he have done if you couldn't unload Boehm or Castellanos'? Like, if you couldn't trade those guys?
You got to do your freaking job. You got to come up with one little thing. What am I asking him to do? Build the Empire State Building? I come up with a right-handed guy who's a little pop and can play outfield. Maybe it's a fourth outfielder for somewhere. It's not going to cost you that much.
So you would have been happier just with a fourth outfielder?
A right-handed hitter with pop.
And
not just a fourth outfielder. A guy who can platoon as a righty.
And I say this, and you always get upset. They thought it was going to be Weston Wilson, and they still do.
How do you think it's going to be Weston Wilson? Seriously, on what earth do you think a minor league journeyman is good enough for that role to be a full-time platoon outfielder? Seriously? Bill, think the game here.
That's what they thought.
Well, that's stupid.
There's no doubt about it. That's what they thought.
That because it's the only guy they had in their system. He's a journeyman player. He's an infielder who they're trying to convert to an outfielder. So you harm your defense, and he's not that good of a player. You got to do better than Weston Wilson.
I'm looking at his numbers. I know it was limited last year, but in 88 at-bats, the guy hit .284, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs, OPS of 836.
88 at-bats. Now, times that by 4. And then you give me an accurate reading. Because as a platoon guy, that's what he would have to have, 300-plus at-bats.
But, and again, not saying that this would have been my plan, but that was clearly Dombrowski's plan.
It's wrong. That's my point is his plan was wrong. His plan to sign an outfielder that wasn't right-handed. Okay, I like Kepler a little bit. I like him. If you're going to sign Kepler, it's imperative then for you to bring in a right-handed outfielder who can at least share the load.
Yeah, which they clearly didn't do because now you got Edmundo Sosa trying to learn outfield.
I'm not. They're a good team, and I'm asking them to be a little better. That's all. I'm not like trying to bury him here. But you've had the whole offseason to know what the problem was. You needed bullpen pieces. You needed right-handed pop off the bench. What were you doing?
I think they were trying to trade Alec Bohm.
Buddy Kennedy? Weston Wilson? This is what you were doing?
I know you're upset, and you're not as high on the team as you've been in previous
I
years.
am upset, Bill.
But I still see this team winning 90 games at least and making it to the postseason.
All right.
And if that's the case,
anybody can win.
Anybody can win.
Once you get to postseason, anybody can win,
but
especially if you have a good pitching staff.
You know that's true. But what I'm saying is Dombrowski could still attempt to do something at the deadline if it shows that they need that right-handed bat in the outfield. If Weston Wilson comes back and is truly just a minor leaguer like you think he is, or if they have issues in the bullpen, they can do things at the deadline if need be. And you also got Andrew Painter that could come up.
Okay, am I evaluating them then? I'm evaluating them what I always evaluate what's fresh in front of me.
And I think that you're not giving this team enough credit, which is crazy. I'm the one that's talking you down. I think when you look at the pitching staff and you look at the lineup, they're going to win a lot of damn
Produce
games.
isn't fresh enough for me right now. 610-632-0975. The lettuce is a little wilty. We're back after this.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
It's 11:11. Mike Missanelli Show. Right, I've got a situation. Bill's not back, but I asked him to bring me coffee, so I can't rip him. So he has immunity of the rip because he went down to get coffee, and I said, Bill, once you're down there, can you get me a cup?
Yeah, but you could rip me. I couldn't find the sweetener.
Oh, really?
So I gave you a little creamer, but I couldn't find the sweetener. So.
All right.
No sweetener in here?
Well, I drink mine black.
There's a little drawer there.
Oh, it's in the drawer.
Rip him. Rip him.
I was looking in all like the containers and stuff. I never opened the
Get him.
drawer.
Get him.
It's like 3 drawers there.
And I guess I'll go back at the break.
No, never mind. It's all right. I don't need the sweetener.
You don't. It's better for you to just drink it black.
Steve Lappas, who is a CBS college basketball analyst now. And dude, I'm telling you, this guy, I know Lap very well. And he has really kind of fell into a really nice situation. He's good at it. And he's getting a lot of good reviews. I read this guy in the New York Post. He doesn't like anybody. This guy who's the media writer up there, Phil Mushnick, and he's lauding Lappas' performance as a color analyst. Now, you revealed to me before the show, he was former Villanova coach, of course, and you revealed before the show that your favorite team he was the coach of.
Yeah, when I was in middle school, I was a big
Favorite Villanova team.
Yeah, but I was a big Nova fan.
1996 Villanova team, which had Kerry Kittles, the all-time leading scorer.
That's right.
Alvin Williams.
Alvin Williams is a good player,
who
man.
Played in the NBA for many years with the Toronto Raptors and went to Germantown Academy. Jason Lawson, the 6'10 kid from the inner city. A kid named Chuck Cornegay, who was a 6'9", like Adonis transfer from NC State. And
Zeffy Penn.
Off the bench. And Eric Ebers was the small forward on that team. Now, that's a really good, talented team. And they had 3 good guys off the bench, including a kid named Howard Brown on that team from Pottstown.
I'm trying to remember. I mean, look, I'm going back to when I was in
Zeffy Penn.
I was in middle
Harrisburg,
school.
I think.
There was another guy on that team that you didn't mention. Was it Michael Haynes? No, I'm trying to remember who it was.
No, that Jonathan Haynes had transferred from Temple to Villanova, but he wasn't on that team. He came the next year, I think.
Yeah, I got to look because I used to go when it used to be called the DuPont Pavilion.
Yes.
I used to go to games there all the time. When I was
and you know why it was DuPont, no longer DuPont Pavilion?
Yeah, because the guy was crazy.
Yes. And I sat with the guy.
Oh, did you?
Interviewed him. Yeah, because he was apparently riding his car on campus on the grass and stuff. And like doing wheelies. And so finally they said, well, we're in a dilemma here because he donated all this money to put his name on the pavilion. But he's like psychotic and we have to and he wound up killing a wrestler, obviously. But when the controversy with them taking his name off the building was a story that I had to write for the Inquirer. And so I had to sit with him.
And this is before he killed somebody.
Before, but I'm sitting with him and he's cuckoo clock. I mean, he's a total zombie.
I saw the movie where Steve Carell plays him.
I'm sitting there.
Right?
I'm like, I can't believe the stuff I'm hearing from this guy. He was legitimately out there. But anyway, Steve Lappas is coming up, and we'll talk about that team. But also, he had a very, very, and I was texting back and forth with him. He was very critical of Rick Pitino not playing R.J. Lewis. Now, Ray, do you know the story of this R.J. Lewis? He's Reggie Lewis's kid, right?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know the full
but he
story.
Changed his name?
I don't know the full rundown of what happened there, to be honest with you. But
his name is R.J. Luis, which in Spanish would be Luis, but it's Lewis. Yeah, he's Reggie Lewis's kid, but Reggie Lewis was Lewis. Reggie Lewis died under really peculiar circumstances. You think the kid in growing up was trying to distance himself from the last name?
Great question.
That's interesting.
Well,
but you know what I remember vividly about that Villanova team that Lappas coached? Do you remember who it was that upset them in the March Madness tournament?
I don't.
Tony Gonzalez.
Oh, really? Cal beat him?
Yes. And Tony Gonzalez had a game, and I remember them talking about it on the broadcast then, saying that this guy was also a football player. Let me pull that up. Gonzalez dropped, how many points did he have that game? 23.
Yeah.
March 15th, 1997.
Tony Gonzalez beat Villanova.
Tony Gonzalez
with that
knocked
good
them off.
team.
Yeah, they had a good team
They
that
were
year.
good. Villanova was good. They expected to go somewhere with that team. All right. We had Jonah on the line. Jonah, we're going to get to you in 3 seconds. You just dropped. So let's go to our text board. What did just the text board say about the lineup?
All right, Paul from Glenside. I understand 95 wins last year, but I can't wrap my head around Schwarber coming up to bat after Realmuto, Kepler, Marsh, Rojas, as opposed to Turner, Harper, Bohm. So a little bit of disappointment for Paul that he's going to be back in the leadoff spot.
He's saying when he comes up the second time around. It's a good point.
Yeah, your leadoff hitter always runs into that problem.
John from Levittown. The reason the lineup will not change, and no one wants to say it, is because Harper feels comfortable batting third. If he will not bat second, then this is what we got. The lineup should be Turner, Harper, Bohm, Schwarber, Castellanos, Kepler, Realmuto, Stott, Marsh.
Hold on, before I respond to the text, Mike, you just said the leadoff hitter always runs into that problem. You're correct, but your leadoff hitter isn't usually a guy who hits over 30 home runs.
I hear you.
You know what I mean? That's the issue with Schwarber being the leadoff guy. And to the texter's point about Harper not wanting to move from the 3 spot,
How many RBIs Schwarber had last year?
had over 100.
What's the matter?
2 years in a row.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, I guess it's...
That's overthinking.
So then why even platoon it? Then why not just come out
I
and
don't
say,
know why.
We're going
I
with
don't know.
Schwarber
What
again?
was he when he said that? Was he pressed on it?
It
When
happened
did
on
he
the
say
TV
this? I was in his sick bed.
I believe it was
On
on
the
the
TV
TV
broadcast?
broadcast, which wasn't even a... It was
Online stream broadcast
Yeah.
of a television broadcast.
so he said it on an online stream that probably a
So
lot of
who
people
did the
didn't see.
game? Was
I assume it was
Phillies announcers?
The NBC Sports crew.
NBC Sports crew.
Yeah.
Because I heard Fransky doing a game. Now, McCarthy wasn't doing a game this weekend because he was at the NCAA tournament.
Well, Fransky might have been. They might have just been running a radio audio only stream on
Maybe.
that.
Okay. All right. So there was a booth interview, in other words. So when he talks to the writers, I would expect you'd ask those kind of questions. Like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, so here's the exact quote. And I'm getting this from Todd Zalecki. It could be against a lefty Turner leads off, against a righty Schwarber leads off, but those top 4 guys remain the same. End quote. So I don't know if there was a follow-up to that.
Well, that's very unorthodox. I don't know. And this is a very orthodox manager. So I don't know what he's thinking here. But anyway, if you want to climb in like Jonah from Philly, who dropped out, 610-632-0975. That's how you get in, Bill.
Now, when you talk about unorthodox, I was reading something else. Could you see a scenario where Topper completely changes up his thought process as well, and late in games when they want to have a more defensive outfield, that they move Marsh to left, Kepler to right, and put Rojas in center?
Well, they said they're going to do that.
Well, in
Defensively,
previous
right?
years, he didn't want to do that to Castellanos.
Yeah.
Because he worked so hard.
Yeah.
Oh, he worked so hard at it.
See, this is what I'm telling you, Bill. He's got respect for players because he wasn't a player. He like doesn't like to upstage players. So now it's like a big thing for him to have a better defensive outfield because you're going to hurt Castellanos' feelings.
And I'm torn because like my knee-jerk reaction to that is I want to get angry. But then it's like you look back at the regular season success over the last 3 years, and it's hard to be angry. It's just I don't know if that type of mentality works when you don't have the ability to just keep them comfortable.
You got to understand something. The baseball players are the weirdest of weird lots. They are the weirdest professional athletes on the planet. They are mentally defective. And so when you tweak them mentally defective, you sometimes can lose them more than you would lose any other athlete that you think you can go, come on, bull up. You can't do that to baseball players.
I want my Moneyball moment.
610-632-0975. Back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Days away from opening day. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. We're just a few days from the Phillies opening up their season in D.C. against the Nationals. Today marks the final spring training game for the Phillies. Some roster decisions already being made. It appears Ranger Suarez began the season on the injured list, leading to Taijuan Walker being in the starting rotation to open up the season. Johan Rojas and Cody Clemens both have been informed that they made the roster, and the Phillies also claimed reliever Carlos Hernandez on waivers, who is most recently with the Royals. Last week on the Fanatic Hot Stove Show, Jason Stark joined the show and had high praise for this Phillies team, leading heading into 2025.
3 teams in the NL East: Phillies, Mets, Braves. Any of them could win. They all should make the playoffs. I think the Phillies, in a world where everybody is healthy, have the best roster and the best team.
We get to see it all begin to play out on Thursday as the Phillies open up down in D.C. against the Nationals. Elsewhere in Philly sports, both the 76ers and Flyers lost yesterday. That's 4 in a row for the Sixers, 5 in a row for the Flyers. Sixers return to action in New Orleans against the Pelicans at 8 o'clock tonight. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Worldwide Stereo. Worldwide Stereo's new trade-in program makes upgrading your home audio easy. Trade your used audio and video gear for superior sound in 2025. Learn more at worldwidestereo.com. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
27, Mike Missanelli Show. Okay, Bill, you got an update on your Phillies there?
Yeah, this isn't going to make you feel good. But apparently, Dave Dombrowski gave an update on Ranger Suarez. We know he's starting the season on the IL. Dombrowski said he's going to pitch sometime in April, but he needs to be built up again. You're talking 3 weeks or something at least, is what Dave Dombrowski says about Rangers. So get ready, everybody, because the Taijuan Walker experiment continues.
See, my sense about Ranger Suarez is that this is going to happen like this all year, which means you don't have 5.
However, I think that you are in a lot better position this season to survive the Ranger Suarez injury bug. Because last year when Ranger went out, you didn't have a Luzardo. You didn't have Andrew Painter potentially coming up. So you were trying the Spencer Turnbull, and then he gets hurt, and then Taijuan Walker, Tyler Phillips, Mitch Gable, who else? Michael Mercado. At least now you're better set up. I know we got to suffer through the Taijuan Walker start every 5th day for the short term. But you would think at the very least you're going to get a different 5th starter and Andrew Painter probably in June or July.
All right. Meanwhile, the NCAA tournament keeps rolling along, and the number 1 seeds are still looking good. Looks like a pretty good Sweet 16. The man's been calling the early round games. Has done a fantastic job. Has moved into this profession like nobody's business. He, of course, is former Villanova coach Steve Lappas. He joins us. Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Mike. How are you?
Fantastic. Let me just say that I am admiring your work, and everybody seems to love it, including that curmudgeon up in New York who, that Phil Mushnick wrote a column about how good you're doing. So when you made him like you, you're doing something special.
I appreciate that, Mike. It's been fun, no doubt.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, I didn't know that you were going to wind up doing this, but it seems like this is something that's come pretty natural to you. How did you feel about it when you first started and where you are right now?
Well, you know what, Mike? It's I kind of, even when I was coaching, I always said to myself, this wouldn't be a bad thing to do someday. Now, I didn't think I was going to start doing it when I was 50, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be when I retired, you know what I mean, at 60, 65. But obviously it didn't work out that way. And so I got into it. I really was just going to get into it for a couple of years or a year and try and get back into coaching. And then it just, became something I liked. I got used to the lifestyle. CBS has been great to me, and it kind of just, rolled on from there. But, it wasn't my plan, like I said, to do from that young an age, but I always had it in the back of my mind.
Well, you're doing a great job at it, and here's the thing I like about you. You're honest. And I don't know how much the brass talks to you about that. I mean, the NCAA tournament is a sole project. You're partners with all these networks, but you call like you see. You do criticize officials. You will criticize a coach for a play, whatever. And certainly you did it this weekend. But what's been your model for broadcasting here as far as that goes?
You know what, Mike? I think good or bad, it's kind of always been who I was. You know what I mean? That I always was one of these guys who wore it on his sleeve. I wore it on my sleeve when I coached. I think that you weren't writing, you were doing media, you were doing radio and stuff when I was coaching. But when I was dealing with Dick Girardi and those guys, I had a good relationship with them because I was very honest all the time. And if there was something I couldn't talk about, I wouldn't. But I would never lie about anything. So. I always wore it on my sleeve. I was always a pretty honest, sometimes that's good and sometimes it's bad. And I don't know if, the main line loved my act, but chances are if I won a little bit more, maybe they would have. But, it's just who I am.
Talking to Steve Lappas, he's doing color commentary for all the NCAA tournament games. I hope, are you involved in the Sweet 16 as well?
Yeah, I'm going to be in Indianapolis for Tennessee, Kentucky, and Houston, Purdue.
All right, fantastic. All right, so you were I was watching the game yesterday. The Calipari Patino clash back and forth, and we were going back and forth a little bit text wise as far as R.J. Lewis. He was totally I thought detrimental to his team. But you're right. I didn't expect that the last few minutes it would be out. I thought he would give him a cooling off period on the bench and have him in for the last 4 minutes. You were very critical of Rick Pitino for not having the Big East Player of the Year on the floor in the end.
You know what? I was astounded. I got to tell you, Mike. Here you are in a game. You go to the Sweet 16. The kid was terrible. There's no question. But Rick Pitino is a tremendous coach. If he's not the best to do it since John Wooden, he's one of the best 2 or 3 since then, and we know that. So, to me, it's like grab him, hug him, RJ. Forget about everything that happened. Come on, kid. 5 minutes. I know you can make more plays than anybody in this game in 5 minutes, and let's give it a go. And then if you go down, you go down. I said it on the air. I said, if he's 1 for 30, I'm putting him in the game. It's just how I felt. And not only that, you put in Ruben Prey, who I think is going to be a nice player someday. He averages a point a game and 7 minutes a game. That kid's not getting you to the finish line. There's no way. You hope that R.J. Lewis can't. Maybe he wouldn't have. But I think you got to go down with, the player of the year. We're not just talking. We're talking. They hadn't had a player of the year since Walter Berry.
Yeah, it's Pitino.
In the last 5 minutes.
It's certainly Pitino flexing his muscles a little bit. And, guys that have that kind of clout, I guess, can flex their muscles. But here's the ramifications of this, Steve. That kid runs right to the portal after a humiliation like that, right?
It makes sense. Now I'm not saying he will. Maybe he thinks he's improved so much under Rick Pitino that he's going to make another step and it's going to help him in his future. I don't know, but it certainly it doesn't help. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And the kid has to feel. I mean, how could you not be humiliated? Yes, he was terrible. He took bad shots. He was a detriment to the team up until that point. But guess what? Up until that point, the team was down 2, just 2, and was already playing without their second best player, Kadari Richmond, because he fouled out. It just made no sense to me.
Did you see the end of the Maryland game and the shot?
Yeah.
Okay. What if you're a coach? If you're the coach of Colorado State, did you get hosed?
I just right before I got on with you, I watched it again. I don't know if that's a travel. It is really close. I know some say yes. Gene Steratore didn't think it was. Who's our rules guy on CBS. I don't think they got hosed. And you know what? That kid made. I agree with that. I forget if it was Robbie Hummel or Jalen Rose. One of them said, "You put this guy in the gym with no defense, and you tell him, take 10 of these, you might make 1." And he made it with Ethan Morton all over his face. The defense that kid played on him on that play was tremendous. He made a heck of a shot. Do I think it was a travel? I don't. Was it close? Yes.
Okay, so a better shot than a travel. Steve, let me just take you back quickly to my co-host Bill said that his favorite team growing up was your team that had Alvin Williams, Kerry Kittles, Jason Lawson, Chuck Cornegay, and Eric Ebert, which is a pretty formidable starting lineup. And you had some really good guys off the bench. First of all, the first thing that sticks out about that is that you had to fight for Kerry Kittles, right? Like you had to save Kerry Kittles. He had given Rowley a commitment, and then he was going to change his mind. You had to go to New Orleans and save him to be part of the Villanova experience. He winds up being the leading scorer in school history. So you did a pretty good job. How did you do it?
Well, you know what? I'll be very honest with you about it. So, yeah, Kerry didn't want to come. So, because he didn't know me. He said, "Who's this guy from Manhattan?" I was going to play for Rolly Massimino. So, anyway, I go down there, and his parents were great. His parents were both very religious people. He actually was going to go to Tulane if he didn't go to Villanova. So, they kind of wanted him to fulfill his commitment. So, I walk in the house, and the kid wouldn't look at me. And I'm sitting on the edge of the couch, and I'm giving him the cell and the this and that, and he wouldn't even look at me. Now, finally, towards the end, he started to. I was in there like 2 hours. His high school coach was a great guy, Bernard Griffith. He played for a great high school down there. So finally, at the end, I'm getting him to, fall a little bit. So I go outside, and all the reporters are out there because it was a big story that Kerry's not going, doesn't want to go to Villanova. So the reporters asked me. They said, "Hey, how do you think it went?" I said, "I think it's going to be fine. I think you'll be coming to Villanova, no problem." So I go back to the hotel, and I turn on the 11 o'clock news, and they show me, and then right after me, they showed Kerry. And they said, "Well, what do you think, Kerry?" Said, "Oh, I'm not going to Villanova." I'm like, "Oh, my God." So now I had to go back. I had to go home to to go to Eric Ebers' house. And so I went to Ebers the next day. He was no problem. I had to go back to New Orleans. And when I came back, Mike, I just told him, I said, listen, and in those days, it was different. When you signed the letter of intent, if you reneged on it, you lost 2 years of eligibility, even if I let you out.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, Kerry, I will let you out, no problem, but you're going to lose it. You're going to lose 2 years eligibility. Why would you do that? I said, I will let you out right now. I promise. But if I do, you're going to lose eligibility. I said, now you made a decision to go there. It's not jail you're going to. You obviously like something about it. Give it a try. If you don't like it after your freshman year, you transfer.
Yeah.
And, it kind of made sense.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. He came up, he liked it, and that was the story.
But you also made it a point to recruit local Philly high school kids, which hadn't been done in the previous regime. Now, what was your mindset there? Because you got Lawson, you got Alvin Williams in there, two very key players for that team.
Well, the one thing I will say that I did inherit, I inherited Jonathan Haynes. And Jonathan Haynes was a great, unbelievable Philly kid. And, he helped so much with Alvin and Jason. And we got Alvin early. I'll tell you a funny story about Jason. So Jason commits to us, and we are ecstatic. And now we're still trying to get Rasheed Wallace, too.
That's right. You were in on Rasheed Wallace.
Oh, yeah. We were in hard on Rasheed.
Yeah.
And Rasheed committed to me 3 times. Now, I'll tell you this, Mike. If Rasheed comes to, I don't think I'm doing TV now. But anyway, Rasheed, and he did. Rasheed committed to me. He came to every game we played that year because he was best friends with Alvin, Lawson, and Jonathan Haynes. And he would come to my office and we had a bad year my first year, and he'd come in and say, Coach, don't even worry about it. We'll get this straight next year. And I would smile like there was not. That's all I thought about was these guys all coming.
Oh, man.
He said to me, can I get room 329 in St. Mary's Hall? I said, you can have 329, 330, and 331 if you want. Can have all 3. But anyway, we get Lawson, right? And we are ecstatic, all right? And we're still involved with She. She was.
So you're gonna go Twin Towers there with Lawson.
Oh
and
yeah,
Rasheed.
we're going Twin. Yeah, I mean, I thought they could play together, no problem, because Rasheed was such a good ball handler, and Jason Lawson was a really good passer for 6'11". And those days were different, Mike. Nowadays, you want your 4-man to shoot threes. In those days, it wasn't so necessary. So I thought, yeah, these guys could play together, no problem. Anyway, so we get a commit from Lawson. In the 3 o'clock in the morning, phone rings. Who is it? Jason Lawson. I'm not coming. I'm decided I'm going to go to Virginia. My wife now next to me goes, oh, no, tell me you can't do that. Tell me you can't do that. no, tell me you can't do that. You can't do that. Tell me you can't do that. I'm like, Jason, now relax. Take it easy. We got to talk about this. And the good thing about Jason was his brother, Dave Lyons, was a great guy, and he really wanted the kid to come to Villanova. So he got it all straight for us the next day.
Oh.
But that was 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, they're great stories. But, it was funny. You made the commitment to Philly kids. If you saw something in Philly kids that you wanted part of the program, though, right?
Yeah, that was important. You're in Villanova. You got to have kids from Philly in the program. You have to.
Yeah. Steve, listen, continued success. You and Catalan make a great combination. Is this for now your profession, or you're still thinking of coaching?
Coach, first of all, Mike, 2 things. I'm too old, number 1, and I've gotten too used to playing 200 rounds of bad golf a year. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I know. And you're saying bad golf is right. I'm not gonna cut any ice with you.
No, you can attest to that.
Although you had a great round, they took money off me the last time we played.
Now listen, just because I'm bad doesn't mean I don't make money.
I hear you. All right, Steve, good talking to you. We'll talk down the road.
All right, Mike, see you, man.
There he is, Steve Lappas. How about those stories?
Yeah, those are pretty good. Rasheed Wallace.
I didn't know a lot of those stories.
That would have made my childhood. I was obsessed with the Villanova Wildcats back then.
Let's take
Rasheed Wallace on their
quick break. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
We want to hear from you, so text us at 610-632.
11:46.
It's possible.
Fanatics knockout tournament following the Sixers and Wizards Wednesday night. Listen to win. Are we giving a keyword today?
No.
No?
No keyword today.
No keyword today. So, in any event.
So how do you win tickets now, Ray?
It's a great question. I think that we're just promoting the fact that you got tickets, you have tickets.
All right.
I look forward to seeing you Wednesday night.
So you had a chance to win during each show when I gave you a keyword. But right now, the winners are in. And so it's sponsored by Barlow Chevrolet and Delran for honest pricing and dedicated service.
So we're full capacity for knockout?
It appears that to be the case.
Full capacity.
Wow.
How about that?
Tomorrow, knockout odds come out.
Dude, when you're setting the odds, I haven't shot a ball in a year. Last knockout tournament was the last time I shot a basketball. Now,
the odds weren't going to be favorable for you anyways.
Well, you got to balance that with my athleticism.
Not sure if I'll participate.
I'm already predicting that you're not going to. I think you're going to get, I got to MC it.
Yeah.
I'm very disappointed, Ray.
I'm telling you, I'm just going to shoot jumpers, 16-foot jumpers. That's what I will do. I'll shoot jumpers from a foot behind the line.
But you're not participating.
Maybe I will. But that will be my participation.
I told you, I'm pulling
That'll
for both
give
of
me
you.
one extra foot to get to the rebound if I miss, but which is highly unlikely if I'm shooting jump shots.
It will be nice if all three of the representatives from this show outlast everybody else. That's what I'm hoping.
It would be nice. Got to have those soft rims going. They tighten that rim. They use bad basketballs. I got to have the good balls or I won't participate.
You got to have good balls, you said?
Yeah.
Is that what he said?
That's what I heard him say.
Well, we use the same balls that the Sixers
I'm
use.
used to having good balls, and they have to roll off the fingertips. But they've been using those rubber balls, those hard rubber balls.
Yeah, but I don't think we are though.
Bouncy.
We use the regular NBA ball,
I
don't we?
don't think so.
I forget what we use in terms of the basketball.
I don't think that they're using those regular balls. Maybe the Sixers can roll out the regular balls, do us all a service.
Now, somebody from the Sixers should participate. Like, we should get Quentin Grimes to participate with us.
Oh, yeah.
Why would you want Grimes? Grimes would win.
That's what I mean.
He'll want to do that after they lose to the Wizards.
Wait, doesn't Nick Stauskas usually play? Didn't he play before?
Nick Stauskas?
No, he was going. There was talk of him playing last year. He did not end up playing last year.
Okay. There was
He's
just
not
talk.
on the roster?
No, but he was going to play. We had talked to him on the air last year.
Oh, really?
He had called in as a guest, and I thought he was going to play, but that didn't happen, I guess.
Another person that would have won.
All right, so, Bill, a little earlier, I know you have some golf friends out there. A guy named Adam Hadwin hit a bad shot. And as he's walking up the fairway, he takes his club and he smashes it on top of a sprinkler head. I assume he did that because he did not want to put a dent in the turf, which is a violation, right? So he smashed it on the sprinkler head, which activates the sprinkler head and starts sprinkling all over it. And he's standing on it trying to get it down, and it won't. It's automatic. What should be the punishment for him?
Ooh, he should be punished in some way. Would it be a suspension from another tournament? Is that how they would? Like what's?
He'll probably get suspended, but what can he do to rub out this bad will and create some goodwill? I got a perfect solution. Pay for an irrigation system at a muni.
It's not a bad idea.
How much would an irrigation system at a municipal golf course that gets a lot of play wherever he's from, or whatever he finds a course in need or whatever, pay for an irrigation system?
I'm trying to look it up. Wow.
What?
The cost of installing an irrigation system for an 18-hole golf course can range from $500,000 to $3 million or more, depending on the course size, complexity, equipment, and location.
How about if he gets a lot of his golf buddies to participate?
That's a lot.
And chip in.
That's a big punishment.
He's got to do something. Mike Missanelli Show, back into this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Days away from opening day. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. We're just a few days away from the Phillies opening up their season in D.C. against the Nationals. Today marks the final spring training game for the Phillies, and roster decisions already being made. Ranger Suarez is going to begin the season on the injured list. Johan Rojas and Cody Clemens both were informed they made the final roster, and the Phillies claimed reliever Carlos Hernandez yesterday on waivers. Last week on the Fanatic Hot Stove Show, Jason Stark joined the show and had high praise for this Phillies team going into 2025.
3 teams in the NL East: Phillies, Mets, Braves. Any of them could win. They all should make the playoffs. I think the Phillies, in a world where everybody is healthy, have the best roster and the best team.
Now we get a chance to see that go into action later on this week. Again, opening day Thursday down in D.C. Elsewhere in Philadelphia sports, both the 76ers and Flyers lost yesterday. That's 4 in a row for the Sixers, 5 in a row for the Flyers. Sixers return to action tonight in New Orleans against Pelicans at 8 o'clock. You can hear it live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by Rocket. Rocket.com is a single, seamless home ownership platform to help you find, buy, sell, finance, and even refinance your home. Visit Rocket.com today, the new home for all things home ownership. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Sirianni's the only one that just keeps on winning.
People miss your version of that.
The Sirianni love?
And they stay there. How do you feel about the new bathroom allotment of the dispenser of the paper towels? Have you noticed this?
I haven't been in there yet today.
Well, this has been happening now for the last couple of weeks. Have you noticed that it's dispensing a double towel?
No, I did not.
You did not. You did not realize this. You're so oblivious to stuff. It's unbelievable.
Am I crazy? Did you notice this?
Yes, I noticed this.
A double towel?
It dispenses a double towel now. It's like a 2-layer. How do you not?
It didn't even cross my mind, man.
Of course it doesn't. It is amazing the stuff that gets right by you.
Did not cross my mind at all. By the way, as you talk about music, I had a proposal for Fridays.
You talk about music. I was just talking about paper towels.
Well, this is more important.
Okay.
We were talking about music coming back from the break. I have proposed that Fridays should be boy band Fridays. I think every return song should be a boy band
I
song.
have no problem with that.
You hear that, Ray? No problem from Mikey Miss.
No problem. Listen, I don't have any problem with changing up the music at all. I just, I suggest some tunes to bring back that I think would work. But if anybody else has tunes that will work, I'm all for it.
So ironically, we talked about that on Friday, and then this weekend I ended up watching that documentary Dirty Pop on Netflix. Did you see that?
No.
The dude who created Backstreet and Sync?
I saw it was advertised. I saw the preview.
It's interesting.
Yeah?
Very interesting.
Yeah, I'm not a music whore.
You are a little bit.
Not really. I just, suggest stuff that's new and fresh that I think would, work.
Now, you like to find, like, the artist nobody knows about.
No, I don't.
And then put your nose in the air that we don't know who it is.
Of the 100 songs that I'll listen to during the course of a day, I choose like 5 of them maybe are return worthy. And what I do is I put them in my notes here.
And then you give them to Ray.
And I shoot them to Ray in an email. I don't put all 100 that I listen to. There's certain that go, oh, that's a catchy. That catches. So and I write it down. That's all.
Yeah, I think we need to spice it up a little bit. Who are we listening to?
We're listening to WPEN HD1 Burlington. Are you criticizing my music? Are you criticizing my music?
Sometimes I think we could improve it a
Spice
little
it up? Yeah? Well, why don't you come up with some tunes then?
All right, say less.
Mr.
I'm ready for it.
Now, go ahead. Knock yourself out.
We got to add some more hip-hop, some more boy bands.
I'm taking off music for the rest of the year. It's up to Bill now. This is all Bill's music on WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting from the Comcast Business Studios, which will now have Bill's music, powering possibilities.
And I got to put together a list for Ray then.
Yeah,
you got to have your work cut out for you, Ray.
Put together a list. Put together a list. Big time.
Big time. I offended Mike, Ray.
Music boy.
I went after his music.
Go ahead, G Cleft.
Who's G Cleft?
See, you don't even know what a G Cleft is. Jesus. And you're going to select the music?
Oh, it's the music symbol.
It is.
No, I'm not going to mess around with the music.
No.
We're going to keep the same.
No.
Music.
Ray, listen. My man just gave it up. He wants to choose the music. He thinks he can do a better job. So he's going to do it now.
All right, Ray. Tell me what you need from me.
How you feeling about that, Ray?
How many songs you need?
I'm going to let the two of you guys settle this one on your own.
No. So here's the thing. He can throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. He can hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. He can throw a touchdown pass in the fourth quarter. He can also choose music.
Well, I never told. You didn't know I was a DJ in high school?
Well, guess what, Mr. DJ?
In high school?
Yeah, me and my friends started a DJ company in high school called Empire DJ Co. And we started DJing everybody's Sweet 16 party.
Well, guess what?
It was the best, man.
And I hit your sweet spot, didn't I?
Because you were going to... No, it's not a major bag alert. Ray, think about this. When I was in high school, every single girl was having a Sweet 16 party that we were going to anyway. So imagine now you're not only going, you're controlling the music and you're getting paid to be there. It was brilliant.
Bill can climb Mount Everest. He can take a rocket to the moon. He can play tunes. So we're looking forward to that.
All right.
That's coming up. But right now, we're looking for a little something we call the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ray Dunn with 3 stories, and I think maybe 4 little pieces today on the news at noon. What we got, Ray? Starting with my man Danny Hurley.
Yeah, it's one big Danny Hurley story, which is really just all-encompassing of the emotions.
Oh, okay.
Yes, he's out. It's over. There will be no three-peat. They lost.
Yes, they did.
It's over.
13-game winning streak.
All the haters can celebrate whatever you want today. Hurley's done. His tournament's over. And I just want to take you through the emotions of a coach after the season ends. Let's start with walking off the court. Who do you blame for losing? The officiating, of course. Hurley walking into the tunnel after the game, telling Baylor, hey, man, I hope they don't do to you what they did to us. Of course, as only Hurley can say it.
I hope they don't do that to you, Alan.
I hope they don't
Bleep
fill in the
you.
blank, Baylor.
Yeah, like they did. See, that's just so bad. It's such a poor loser type of thing to do. It's such a bad example for your players. You know, this guy, I like him. I think he's a good coach. I think he keeps his guys focused, and he's got good sets, and he's really serious about it. But grow the frick up. All right.
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
Well, here is him trying to grow up. He was being reflective. Less than a half hour later, talking about egos and enjoying a normal off season.
You know, there's a lot. I mean, of rewiring and things I got to do in the off season, because you just get caught up in this tidal wave of success that we've had, and you just you lose perspective. You struggle with the ego at times because you've been on this incredible run. So it'll be nice to get to a normal off season and just get back to myself as a coach and not have to throw out first pitches. And
there you have it. First pitches. That's why he acts the way he acts, because he threw out too many first pitches. His ego got inflated.
Yeah, he started smelling himself. But I figured him kind of interesting. You struggle with the ego during this incredible run.
Tidal wave of success.
Exactly. All right. Let's keep it going with the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I'm not going to have an ego. I'm just going to tell you how great it's been for me.
This is incredible.
Yeah, I put this one on here strictly for you. Charles Barkley, Friday night. They cut to halftime, and he wasn't ready.
To AT&T at the half. Ernie Johnson, Clark Kellogg, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Charles Barkley. Biggest takeaway from the first half.
Well, I think that's a good question.
Thank you very much.
That's his job. Totally his job. I
came out of left field for you.
Would you expect Ernie not to ask you anything? Would you expect him to sit here and just let you?
Just look at you.
I was looking. You know the game I'm watching. I'm watching Bryant against MSU.
You can't watch more than one game at a time. You watch all these TV shows at one time.
That's at night, man. This is at night. They're not all at the same time, man. One after the other. Ernie, I'm not gonna lie. I was paying attention to the Bryant score. So get at the Clark or Kenneth, please.
That is priceless. I'll take first. That's a first. I wasn't watching. That's somebody. He's a man of many firsts, by the way. But yeah,
there is no question in my mind that Ernie set him up there. No question in my mind. Those guys who whisper, Kenny's the biggest weasel. Hey, Ernie. Yeah, watching the game. Go to him first. Guaranteed that's what happened.
Poor Charles.
He got sandbagged.
I mean, it is his job.
But we know he doesn't watch it. Like he does what he wants. Well, I say that he doesn't pay attention to every show. Like some of his analysis, I go, oh, he's just trying to get through it. He doesn't know what to say about it. That's what makes him Chuck.
It was awesome. It's awesome for him to at least admit it and not give us a recycled talking point that someone threw at him 30 seconds.
I'm telling you, like Ernie Johnson should know. Like, first of all, he should say, hey, Ernie, don't go to me. I'm watching this Bryant game. He didn't do that. Like, he's thinking that Ernie's going to save him. I guarantee you that Kenny Smith put him up to it.
Possible.
All right, last one for you here. Mick Cronin, I love a good coaching soundbite. It is after midnight. He has just been eliminated from the NCAA tournament. A reporter had the nerve to ask him about next season, and this is Cronin's response.
Right now, guys, it's 12:40 a.m. and our season just ended. That's it. You're going to ask me about next year? Right now, my biggest concern is how bad the seats are on the Allegiant flight, on that terrible plane that we're going to have to fly home tomorrow.
The school bus.
The cheese. The plain version of the cheese.
Hang in there.
And is there any chance
Hang in there.
that Doug got me some hot food, because I don't eat on game day, that I got something edible? Not next year. Not right now, guys.
He's a miserable little bugger. But here's the beauty of that story. If I was the captain of that flight, I go, hey, you team, you get out. I'm evicting you. It's my right to evict you. You walk the frick home. How about that?
No. If I'm Allegiant, I'm taking a pool of money and I'm investing it right into USC's NIL collective. And that's how I'm going to stick it to UCLA. You want to call out my airline? Well, here's some money to USC. You got to deal with them now.
But who was it that gave him the hang in there?
Sub reporter.
Was that a reporter?
It was the reporter.
You talk about kissing some butt.
Really,
Hang in there, coach.
These reporters these days get so intimidating.
Come on now.
The ass kiss. But that little urchin of all people, right? I got 500 wins, but he's such a pain in the ass, that guy. I didn't realize what a pain in the ass he was.
Yeah, it's a little much.
Got Phil with himself a little bit, that Mick Cronin, didn't he, Ray?
A little bit. Hey, maybe he's going to be down on the main line soon.
Oh, is
Who
that
knows?
what the word is? That he would leave UCLA for Villanova?
There's 1,000 different words out there right
the
now.
other thing is Kevin Willard, coach of Maryland. They're in the Sweet 16 now. He's going to leave Maryland for Villanova? You better hire Richard Pitino right away.
I could see maybe leaving Maryland, but
why
why
would
leave
you,
UCLA?
Why would you leave Maryland for Villanova? Maryland's a big university.
It is. I'm just talking about weather-wise. I wouldn't want to leave the West Coast and UCLA to come over here, be on the main line.
He was in Cincinnati for years.
That's what I'm saying. So he knows what it's like.
Oh, wow.
He knows how he's got it made out there.
Boring out there when it's too nice every day.
I guess the taxes are killing him, too, over there.
610-632-0975. We'll take your phone calls. I'd love to talk to you. Mike Missanelli Show, back after this.
Andrew Salciunas.
Ray. Put a green check mark down for that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Matt Gilb just tweeted out the following quote from Dave Dombrowski when asked about the importance of lineup construction. Quote, "You'd be surprised how insignificant it is," Dave Dombrowski said.
Interesting. That's coming from Dombrowski, not from Thompson.
You'd be surprised how insignificant it is. So, in other words, the question of why is a guy a cleanup hitter is irrelevant, or why a number 2 or number 3 hitter is so important to the lineup. Number 2, to keep going if the leadoff guy gets on, to hit balls in holes, to get them first to third. Number 3, so your number 3 hitter can always hit in the first inning if he's your best player. So lineup is so unimportant and insignificant. Or why the number 9 hitter has to really mix in a hit every now and then to turn the lineup over to get it back to the top, since your number 9 hitter right now happens to be the Latino Ben Revere. So I assume that the lineup's construction is insignificant.
Wait, who's the 9-hole hitter?
The Latino Ben Revere.
Who's that? No, I'm saying who on the Phillies is that? Because isn't Brandon Marsh the 9-hole hitter?
Or Rojas.
Oh, okay. You're saying Rojas. I read an article a couple weeks ago about this very thing that did talk about that we overrate the lineup construction and that, you move players up and down. It really doesn't do that much for the ultimate outcome. But see, here's where I get confused, though, by the Philadelphia Phillies organization. We just hear from Rob Thompson yesterday that they may do a platoon look at the leadoff spot with Turner against left-handed pitching, Schwarber against right-handed pitching. And now today, the last game of spring training, they got Turner leading off, and I'm looking at who's on the mound for the Rays, and it's a right-handed pitcher. So how does that make sense?
I could tell you that it might not be important to Dave Dombrowski. It is not insignificant to the actual players, because I've had many conversations with Philly players over the years that love being in a set spot. It makes them focus better. It gives them expectations of where they belong in the lineup, where they feel more comfortable, whatever. It is not insignificant. Bryce Harper had a conniption when it was suggested that he would move to 2, did he not?
Did he have a conniption? Did I miss that?
Well, a mental, at least had a brain thought about it.
Yeah, he definitely feels more comfortable batting third.
Right. These guys like to be comfortable in spots. They are creatures of habit. They play 162 games a year. They're out there all the time. They're in the clubhouse together. They don't want to be jerked back and forth, especially veteran players. Younger players, you can mix them in and out, and they have no say. They don't have the hammer. The veteran players that the Phillies had get the red ass when they come in and they're dropped in the order or they're not in a space that they're comfortable. Now, you can blame the player for that, and that's fine and dandy. But as long as that player is making $20, $30, $40 million, he has the hammer on that mentally.
I get that, and I get that side of it. But as the manager, you got to put a lineup out there that you think is the best for winning baseball games. So if Bryce Harper feels more comfortable batting third, but everybody agrees that it makes more sense for him to bat second, then he should bat second.
I am not arguing that. You're missing my point. I am addressing the fact that Dombrowski said that lineup construction is insignificant. Well, it's not to the manager because he goes left, right, left, right, left, right. He tries to balance it. Is that insignificant?
Well, yeah, you're right, because Rob Thompson clearly
Well,
thinks
exactly. So what is the general manager saying?
I think what the general manager is saying is, hey, listen, we know we hoodwinked everybody by saying we were going to lead off Trey Turner, but we're not, and don't make a big deal about it because the lineup construction's not that big of a deal. And I stole the hoodwink line from Ray because he said that to me yesterday before his show, that we were all hoodwinked, and I agree. See, Ray, I gave you credit for that.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Very nice of you.
He was hoodwinked and bamboozled. That's from Malcolm X.
Led astray.
Led astray. Bill didn't know that.
I knew that. It's one of Denzel's best roles.
All right.
But really, like, I think that's what Dombrowski's doing is he's downplaying this because people are going to get upset when they roll out the same exact lineup. that has Schwarber, Turner, Harper, Bohm. You're going to have Alec Bohm as your cleanup hitter again. But it wins you a lot of games, so who am I to argue with it?
All right, listen. We're going to talk to Rich from Packer Park. Rich, hang in there. I swear to God, my microphone went limp again, and I hate when that happens. Rich, went again. This thing, well, it's limp. It's uncontrollable.
We need Dr. Avidan Appel.
Mike Missanelli show continues after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
How am I supposed to do an update after that? The days away from opening day. I'm already done with this Fanatic Sports Update. Just days away from the Phillies opening up their season in D.C. against the Nationals. Today marks the final spring training game for the Phils, the final tune-up before they get themselves up and move into D.C. We got some news out of camp. The Rangers Squirrels will begin the season on the injured list. Johan Rojas and Cody Clemens both been informed that they made the roster. Phillies yesterday also claimed reliever Carlos Hernandez on waivers. Last week on the Fanatic Hot Stove Show, Jason Stark joined the show and had high praise for this Phillies team leading in to the season this year.
3 teams in the NL East: Phillies, Mets, Braves. Any of them could win. They all should make the playoffs. I think the Phillies, in a world where everybody is healthy, have the best roster and the best team.
And they get to start proving that on Thursday down there in D.C. against the Nationals. Elsewhere in Philly sports, both the 76ers and Flyers lost yesterday. That's 4 in a row for the Sixers, 5 in a row for the Flyers. Sixers return to action tonight in New Orleans against the Pelicans at 8 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes at Jackson Hewitt Expert. Tax prep is now $149 or less. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/49-149. I'm Ray Dunn on the home of the 76ers and the Flyers, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
for you? Black hole sun?
It's a little bit, breaks you down a little
Is
bit.
all right? Yeah. Well,
A little,
you scratch that. Get with that out of there. It's not Bill approved, Ray.
I do like the
Two
song.
down. That's two down for Bill.
I do like
So
the song.
take out Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. All right? Can we get that? This is all Bill now. This is going to be Bill approved from now on. All right? So no more Black Hole Sun for the people out there. Bill doesn't like it. It's two down.
And speaking of Bill approved, let's do our daily Joe Shane check-in.
No, we don't.
Did you see the quarterback they signed?
Jameis Winston.
And did you know who told Jameis Winston to sign in New York? Saquon Barkley.
Did he?
You remember the week before Super Bowl Media Day, Jameis Winston in the crowd says to Saquon, "I'm a free agent. Who should I sign with?" He says, "New York needs a quarterback."
Wasn't he doing the? Oh, that's right. He did say that. Wasn't he doing the gritty at Broadway? Didn't they film him? I thought I saw it in the New York Post.
Does that make you nervous at all that the Giants got Jameis?
Terrifies me. Tremendously terrifies me. All right, let's get to the phones. We got Rich from Packer Park's been hanging. Rich, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. How are you, buddy?
Mike, I'm fine. The last time I saw you was at Chicky and Peach. You said, "What brings you back home?" Remember that?
Yeah, yes, I do remember that. Yep.
Yeah, well, anyway, I'm retired now, so I'll
good for you.
Time to time.
Congratulations.
But I wanted to hear you. Yeah, God bless you're on, because I don't know where you're at. Last time you were on the other place, and you're one of the two people I call that's, intelligent enough and knows your stuff that I can waste my time calling. These are the people I just can't take.
Yeah,
one of the things, Mike, I can't. One of the things, and I went to St. Joe's. I never played ball, but I played high school ball at Southern baseball, and you played ball, so I'm a firm believer. Before I even heard that comment, I'm a firm believer, and I'm a big reader of sabermetrics by Bill James and stuff. I'm a firm believer personally that the lineup order does not, in the end, have to make that much of a big difference. Like you're right about the players feeling comfortable, but in the end, baseball plays out like a mathematical equation. Basically.
Yeah, I get it, but it also has to blend. I mean, you have there's some way you construct a lineup where it fits like a puzzle.
Yeah. But
so in that respect, I think it is important. But I think it's important to get hitters in the right spots in the lineup where they can do the most damage. Or where they can do the most damage. Like where we're doing more damage at 1 than he can at 4. The statistics say yes, he can. So, all right, I guess he's going to be the leadoff hitter again.
I personally like him in leadoff. That's my own personal thing. What I like when the leadoff spot, he gets on base. That's the important thing. So. But anyway, that's that. But one more thing about beside baseball, Mike. I'm a big NCAA fan, and I was taking a nap, and I watched the end of that game with the with the Patino, with the Arkansas St. John's. I was kind of rooting for St. John's.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised he had R.J. Lewis. Were you surprised? As bad as he was playing,
I thought the kid was horrendous, and I thought he was. I thought he was quitting. If I'm a guy like Patino. The last thing I tolerate is somebody's going to quit on me. The kid had He was moping. He was. His body language was terrible. It was rubbing off on other players. So from that standpoint, he had to sit. Now, would I have put him in if I had other guys that could shoot and score the basketball? I would feel comfortable with him being on the bench. But the fact of the matter is, he was playing with fire. He has nobody who can score. That's the kid that can score for him. So yeah, he was wrong.
Exactly. And the last thing, Mike, now I'll let you go. Last thing, that last second shot, was that Derek Quinn, was it? Derek Queen. Yeah. I mean, that was that's a shot, man. Even if you're just like practicing, it's a tough shot.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Rich. Derek Queen played on the same starting 5 at Montverde with Cooper Flagg and the point guard that played for Baylor, Rob Wright.
That was probably a pretty good high school team.
They were 3 of the 5 that started for Mount Vernon.
So I heard this morning that when the coach came into the huddle during the timeout for Maryland, it said who wants the ball.
Jimmy Chitwood stepped up.
Yeah, Queen said, "Give me that mother bleeper," and then he nailed it.
Like Jimmy Chitwood. Jimmy Chitwood didn't say MF. He said, "I'll make it.
I'll make it." Well, that was a big shot. And Lappas said it, and I do forget who said it on the broadcast. He's right. Even in an empty gym, how many times does Quinn make that shot?
Tough shot. Queen.
What would I say?
Quinn.
Quinn.
Where'd I get Quinn?
Because caller said Quinn.
Yeah, messing me up, caller. Yeah, that was a great shot by Queen. But I do think it was a travel.
Right.
I know Lappas said it wasn't.
It was double towels.
I did not notice the double towels.
Hard to believe.
People in the YouTube chat said it's because I'm not washing my hands.
Could be. Now, here's another thing. This was a recent thing that I noticed. I forget where I was, but I go into it was a public bathroom. And they have the old style air blower, which is like there's some old 70-year-old guy inside the machine going.
I hate the blower.
Like once you commit, once you make the transition from the paper towel to the hot air blower, don't you have to go with the turbo?
I'm anti any type of blower in the bathroom.
That's really not my question. My question is...
Well, here's the problem, Mike. The one that you're talking about, because the one that you're talking about, the high velocity blower, was proven that fecal matter gets all in the air and you breathe it in. I remember reading a study about a year or two ago. I don't like the blower. In fact, if they don't have paper towels, I walk out of the bathroom with wet hands.
How about the Dyson? Do you like the Dyson?
Is that the one where you put your hands in it?
That's correct.
I still don't like that because it feels like they get dirty again in there. Doesn't it feel like they get dirty again when you put your hands in there?
My point is, how do you have the cool youths to put in the old man blowing inside the machine to dry your hands instead of the ooh?
Yeah, you're probably right. But at that point, I'm just walking out and I'll grab napkins. I don't like using the blowers. Don't like it.
I like it. I like the blow. Get in there, you rub your hands.
Do you know what I'm talking about with the Dyson one, though? Don't you feel like your hands get dirtier?
I always look inside there to see if there's any, shenanigans.
See, I got big hands. Your little small hands fit right in there. No problem.
Oh, of course you do. You're Mr.
I just wanted to get on the record which one of you was pro-blower and anti-blower in the bathroom. That's what I was trying to figure out.
And guess what your big hands are going to be doing now? Picking songs.
I really offended Mike
do all
with the song
the
thing.
legwork. See, I'm driving around. I hear a song. Go, this will be good for the show. I take out my thing. I get it, and I type it in. This will be good for the show. Guess who's doing that now? Big Hands.
Big Hands.
Big Hands is doing it now.
There we go.
I'm alleviated for the rest of the time.
There's no way that you would put up with this.
I feel free.
Ray, you know, the moment we start playing my songs, he's going to get so annoyed that he's going to switch it back.
No. I will simply say that's a Bill selection, and we'll see how it resonates with the people.
Please don't let him do this.
You just made a lot of work for Ray.
See, you sometimes you wish for something that maybe you can't handle, and so you're handling it. Big Hands.
Well, we got to get some more local bands in there. I know you got MP, but we should have the Roots playing. We don't have any Boys to Men coming back.
Bill,
we don't have.
You got a laptop? You got fingers?
All right, I'm going to work on it.
Go right ahead. I know you've been holding a baby, cooking, teaching math. Well, guess what? Now you're holding a baby, cooking, teaching math, and picking songs. How's that grab you?
I can do it all, man. Renaissance man over here.
By the way, 12 o'clock hour is brought to you by Service First HVACs. HVAC, not HVACs. Service First HVAC offering 0% financing for 48 months. Well, that comes in handy. Rebates, tax credits up to $4,300 when you purchase a heating and cooling system. So you can learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. It's the Mike Missanelli Show, 610-632-0975. We'll get to your calls and texts after this.
Tyrone Johnson.
sure I like this song. Not peppy enough.
I would approve.
Yeah, not good. Bill, hope you can do better.
So
610-632-0975.
Some more news on the Phils.
What do you got?
Matt Strom was supposed to pitch today, but he has left middle fingernail irritation after packing this morning. Not believed to be serious. Baseball injuries are the best. Could you imagine? Jalen Hurts missed practice today with left middle fingernail irritation.
Yeah, these guys, honest to God, they are like porcelain vases, right? Oh, God forbid we let him actually. He had a fingernail irritation. He can't throw. That set him out for 2 weeks.
Not to believe to be serious. He's still expected to make the opening day roster.
Seriously. Come on. All right. So the big story is now. Go ahead, Bill. Tell him. At the start of the show, we were talking about how they may platoon leadoff hitters and how people feel about that. Right-handed Trey Turner against a left-handed starter, which the Phillies will get opening day in Washington, or Kyle Schwarber, the left-handed hitter, against the righty starter. It doesn't really matter. Kyle Schwarber hits lefties and righties, so that really doesn't matter.
Well, he does now after last year.
That would be the platoon.
Yes, here's my issue with it more than anything else. One is I do want the consistent lineup. But for me, it's just as much about the two-hole that it is about the leadoff. Because if you lead off Turner, you can now move Bryce Harper into that 2 spot. But when Schwarber leads off, we know he's not going to go lefty-lefty, so now Harper has to bat third. And I also look at the cleanup spot. I don't like Alec Boehm in the cleanup spot. He doesn't hit for power. So now it ruins the top 4 spots because there's been people in the YouTube chat who are saying, hey, look, the leadoff spot doesn't matter that much. It's not just the leadoff spot. It's the ripple effect that it has really throughout the lineup, but mainly those top 4 spots in the lineup. I would much rather like it with Turner, Harper, Boehm, Schwarber. And give it a chance. Like, why not just roll it out, give it a chance, be patient with it, and let's see how it goes. Why go back and forth and mess everything up for the whole lineup depending on who the pitcher is?
The general manager says roster construction is inconsequential.
So if that's the case, if Dombrowski's right that the lineup construction's inconsequential, then why change it depending on who's on the mound?
I don't know. Listen, I'm just throwing thoughts out there. I want the people to react to this. You know the way I react. This is not... Listen, I'd be an idiot to panic or think. I just have a queasy feeling.
I do think
my feeling is a little queasy.
I think before Thursday, the 3 of us have to go on the record with what our predictions are for the Phillies season. I think we got to give our win totals. We got to predict who wins the NL East.
I'll give you mine right now.
Now, I'm going to be surprised if this is a high number because you've been down on this team.
88.
Does that make the postseason? It wouldn't have last year, I don't believe. Last year, 88 wins wouldn't have got it done.
89.
89 would have. The Mets and the Braves had 89.
I'll go 89.
So you think it's going to be a step back?
Yep.
Ray, you have a win total?
91. Second in the division.
Who do you got winning the division? Atlanta?
Braves.
I have them winning 95 again. Because I think it's going to be a more balanced season. They're not going to come out to that crazy hot start, but they're also not going to play 500 ball after the break. So I have them going pretty consistent because of this pitching staff. Pretty consistent. They're going to win 95 games again, and they will win the NL East again.
And yet, you don't like Rob Thompson.
I don't like.
I can't figure you out, man. I just. Can't.
I don't like Rob Thompson with the way he's handled this team. When they started to struggle last year, it bothered me. I've said this multiple times. I didn't like him allowing the complacency to set in. And I know you say, well, what do you want him to do? It's baseball. These guys got to stay comfortable. I think sometimes you got to make them uncomfortable. And especially once you get to the postseason, Not as much last year because last year you only had the one series, but when it became clear,
you're saying he's capable of now making him feel uncomfortable. How? What's changed about Rob Thompson that you didn't like in the first place?
Well, I want him to make them uncomfortable when they need it.
You're assuming that he will because you got him winning 95 games.
Yeah, I think that he's hopefully learned. I'm hoping that he's learned, and I do think that he's on the hot seat. We've had this conversation before. I think he deserved to come back. I think he deserved to come back. He's made the postseason 3 years in a row. But I think you have to change things up, especially as we get closer to October. You can't allow the complacency to set in like you did last year. And come October, I don't want the patience anymore. As much as I'm preaching patience to start the season, saying put Turner at leadoff, put Harper in the 2-hole, and let's see how things go. When the postseason comes, you don't have that luxury, man. We saw it against the Diamondbacks. They kept rolling out the same freaking lineup, and then you wasted a great opportunity to potentially win the World Series that year because Rob Thompson was too set in his ways. That's what I'm hoping he's learned. As we get closer, he's a great regular season manager. They're going to win a lot of games, but has he learned from his mistakes with the postseason?
All right.
95.
See what we got on the text board.
All right, people, regardless of what Dave Dombrowski's saying about lineup construction, the people want to weigh in on it. Nick from Manayunk saying, between regular season and playoffs last year, Schwarber had 39 home runs. 27 of them were solo home runs. For a team that struggled to score runs in the postseason for 2 straight years, moving Schwarber back in the lineup only makes sense. And in the playoffs, a solo home run that turns into a 3-run home run could win you a series.
Okay.
You like it?
Listen. I'm okay with Turner being the leadoff hitter, Schwarber being cleanup, where I'm okay with Schwarber being the leadoff hitter and Turner being the 2-hitter. I just don't. I think the idea to platoon it is ridiculous. I just don't. I don't see where there's any reason that should happen. That's just trying to overthink situations. And you put guys in uncomfortable spots now because they come to the lineup one day, they're the leadoff hitter. They come to the lineup next day, they're a cleanup hitter. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
but that's your definition of shaking it up, so you probably like it.
Yes and no. I don't want to shake it up just because and allowing who's on the mound to dictate it. What I'm saying is stick to a lineup that has Turner as your leadoff and has Harper as your 2-hole with Schwarber in the cleanup spot and give it a chance to work. But when it doesn't work, I don't want it to be, oh, well, this is just where they all feel comfortable, so I'm not going to make any changes. I think you make changes when it's necessary. Or I think, especially like I said last year, what I didn't like about Rob Thompson is I think he focused so much on people just being comfortable that he didn't care to win games sometimes. Oh, well, we gave the guy the day off. So we're not going to pinch hit Bryce Harper in this spot because it's okay if we lose the game. I told Bryce he's getting the day off. Like, to me, it's how bad would it have been for him to pick up his bat and go hit? Would it have been that big of a deal for him to hit? Like, that type of stuff bothered me. And then it almost was like Rob Thompson panics because you bench Alec Boehm in the division series. It's like, well, where was this since the All-Star break? Now you're going to hold the guy accountable, and it's the playoffs?
95 wins last year. He's predicting 95 again. He's got some kind of nut for...
I have issues with Rob Thompson. The reason why I'm predicting 95 again is because, and this now is along the lines of what you think, that a manager doesn't do that much. They got a pitching staff that may be the best pitching staff in all of baseball, second to the Dodgers. That's why I have them winning 95 games. Because when you got guys like Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez, and now if Luzardo's healthy,
well,
you should win a lot of games.
If it's second to the Dodgers, then you need something else. 610-632-0975. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Days away from opening day. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. We're just a few days away from the Phillies to open up their season in D.C. on Thursday against the Nationals. Spring training come to a close today for the Phils. They will have their final game down there in Grapefruit League action. Taijuan Walker on the mound. Matt Strahm is supposed to pitch. He is not pitching because he had an issue packing. Real story. He's got a problem with his left middle finger now. In other news for the Phillies, Ranger Suarez is going to begin the season on the injured list. Johan Rojas and Cody Clemens both were informed they made the roster, and the Phillies claimed reliever Carlos Hernandez yesterday on waivers, who was last with the Kansas City Royals. Last week on the Fanatic Hot Stove Show, Jason Stark joined the show and had high praise for this Phillies team leading into 2025.
3 teams in the NL East: Phillies, Mets, Braves. Any of them could win. They all should make the playoffs. I think the Phillies, in a world where everybody is healthy, have the best roster and the best team.
They get a chance to start proving that on Thursday down there in D.C. with the open of this season. Elsewhere in Philadelphia sports, both the 76ers and Flyers lost yesterday. That's 4 in a row for the Sixers, 5 in a row for the Flyers. Sixers return to action tonight in New Orleans against the Pelicans at 8 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. That feeling of owning your first Mercedes-Benz is hard to believe, but it's real. From the leather stitching to the iconic design, every element of a Mercedes lives up to its reputation. See for yourself at your local dealer. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Ricky Vitalik.
Little 80s.
You will not come for this song.
No, I'm kidding. I like this.
All right, let's play a little game now. It's a different game than DB or not. It's a game called Cheese or Not.
Meaning like corny?
Yes. Cheese or not, you tell me. Tiger Woods post a photo of his new lady. What's her name? Trump?
I forget what her first name
is.
Vanessa Trump, Don Jr.'s ex-wife. He posted a picture of his arm around her and the two of them cozied up on a hammock. And he writes, "Love is in the air, and life is better with you by my side. We look forward to our journey through life together. At this time, we would appreciate privacy for all those close to our hearts." Cheese or not, Bill?
All right. Under normal circumstances, I would say cheese. But I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt here because it's not normal circumstances. Everyone, since it was announced, has probably been hounding him and her. So basically what he's doing is he's asking for privacy, but he's doing it in a way where he's acknowledging the relationship and he's being kind to his significant other.
Trying to get ahead of the story?
Yeah, so I'm not going to say cheese.
Right?
Nah. Love is in the air. Like, if one of my buddies posted that, I'd give him crap.
That's why I said under normal circumstances, right? Like, if you did that, we would probably give you crap on the air. Like, Ray, what was that?
Right.
But Tiger Woods, this is a national story.
I don't care how many majors you've won. I'll still give you crap for it.
Why would he have to post it? Why? What's the point?
My problem's the caption. You can post with
why
your
would he have to
significant
post
other
it
all you
anyway?
want.
Why would he have to post it?
Because he had to acknowledge it.
Why?
Because the fact that
he's dating somebody, who cares? Nobody's business.
Yeah, source confirms to People Magazine. You could just go backdoor channel on that.
I guess, but you could also understand that he may have had her in his ear saying, "What, are you embarrassed of me? You haven't come out. You haven't said anything. You didn't tell anybody that we're dating. What are you trying to hide from it for? Are you afraid of your ex-wife?"
Would that be
possible?
Would that be approvable behavior from a female that you're involved with?
No, I'm only kidding.
No, you're not only kidding. Seriously, what would you think of somebody who would demand that you post it because what are you embarrassed by me? Like what is that? I don't get that.
It's a dip. We are not in the public eye the way not only Tiger Woods is, but she is because of what her last name is. So the fact that she used to be married to Trump's son makes this a national story that's on every single website that we talked about last week, that everybody talks about. So I understand why she and Tiger would both want to post something and not just acknowledge the relationship. He's saying something kind about it. I don't have a problem with it.
What at this time we would appreciate privacy. What, are you kidding me? You're Tiger Woods, the most famous golfer of all time. You married a Trump who happens to be in the White House right now.
Married,
you
right?
actually, they're dating.
Yeah.
You would actually think that people are now going to leave you alone because you want privacy?
They should.
Oh, stop it.
Well, let me ask you, what does it matter that she used to be married to the president's son? Why is that a big deal for Tiger Woods?
It defines the celebrityhood even further. What do you think? This whole world is concerned about. That's why there's People Magazine. That's why there's a red carpet with E! Entertainment. People love this stuff. They can't get enough of it.
I understand.
Privacy.
From his perspective, to ask for privacy, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
You don't think it's misguided for him to ask for privacy? It's ridiculous for him to ask for privacy.
Well, when he says...
Nobody's going to give him privacy.
When he says, for all those close to our hearts, I read that as our kids. She has a daughter, he has a son that are both at school together or in the same golf clinic, whatever it is. So I think what he's saying is basically leave our kids alone, give us some privacy for those close to our hearts. I think he's talking about his kids, and that's what I understand. I get it's not going to stop, but I'm okay with him asking for it.
Okay. It's 1 o'clock. The goal. You ask for privacy. You couldn't have gone higher profile than this right now. Well, I guess you could have, but this is pretty high profile. You're listening to the Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1. Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, and we broadcast from the Comcast Business Studios, powering possibilities. Yes.
There you go. All right, let's just give a little update
Phillies
on what's going
update.
on with the Phils, baby, because this is how it's supposed to work, Ray Dunn. Trey Turner leads off with a single. Bryce Harper hits a dribbler to first. Fielder's choice, Turner goes to second. Alec Boehm steps up, runner in scoring position. He hits a single, bringing in Trey Turner. Kyle Schwarber gets up to the plate in the first inning with, oh my goodness, somebody on base. And what does Kyle Schwarber do? He hits a double, bringing in Alec Boehm. And then Max Kepler comes up after JT Realmuto strikes out. And Kepler hits a double, bringing home Kyle Schwarber. 3 runs in the first. Now, if you would have had Kyle Schwarber leading off, maybe none of this happens. Now, I'm not going to overreact to one at-bat out of several, but this is how it's supposed to work. And guess what? It was against a right-handed pitcher.
That's good baseball right there.
Give it a shot.
That's good baseball.
This is what they got to try. Just try it, Topper. Just try it. Stick with it for a little while.
All right, let's get back to the text board and see what we have here. And then I have another little update on somebody who, an older lady, not an older lady, but a kind of a middle-aged lady who became a sensation somehow during the NCAA tournament because the camera kept shooting to her.
Wait, you talking about Jaden Daniels' mom?
Not Jaden Daniels' mom, no.
Oh, because you saw that whole story, right?
Jaden Daniels' mom.
Jaden Daniels' mother got in between him and who was the female basketball player, right?
Juju Watkins.
Yeah, she didn't like that. She didn't like that. She wanted to, wait, not my son.
No. I'm talking about the men's basketball tournament.
Yeah, where was that when Jaden Daniels did that? Was that women's basketball?
I think it was. Yeah,
Was that women's
wherever
basketball?
USC was playing this weekend. Or I guess it had to have been at USC.
Yeah, because she was there.
Yeah. Well,
so I don't know who you're talking about, Mike.
I'll tell you in a second. Let's go with the text board.
all right, Rob from Northeast with a very, very optimistic look for the Phillies this season. The Phillies suck. They're an old, tired bunch of chokers, frauds. Time to make changes after this season ends.
Well, let's see. That guy's an idiot. What's that guy's name? What's his handle? What's this guy? I want
Rob from the Northeast.
Rob from the Northeast. You're an idiot. Why would you text something like that?
Well,
Seriously,
you're down.
Phillies are
You're down on them.
Oh, did you hear me say the Phillies are chokers? They're bums. They're going to at the season. I said there's going to be a little slippage. Did you hear me also say they're a playoff team? It's a guy like that is a typical Negadelphia idiot.
Look, I'm trying to enjoy the ride this year, and I am higher on the Phillies than most.
Read
But
that tweet again. Read that tweet again, Ray.
Read it one more time.
Go ahead.
The Phillies suck. They're an old, tired bunch of chokers and frauds. Time to make changes after this season ends.
All right, the Phillies suck is the problem.
Phillies suck. They're an old, tired bunch of frauds.
When he said, look,
that guy's an idiot.
Listen,
call him what he is.
Here's the only reason why I understand where fans like that are coming from. They're very disappointed with the way the last 3 seasons have ended. Now, you can't say they suck, and you can't call them frauds. They got a lot of good baseball players. They won 95 games last year. But at the same time, I understand fans' frustrations that 3 years in a row you've gotten farther, less and less farther.
Frustration like that? That's idiotic.
It's a little over the top. I agree.
A little over the top. It's idiot. I want to hear you say it's idiotic.
I'm not going to say it's idiotic because I understand the frustration.
It's idiotic.
See, Ray can say it easily. You can't say it. Ray, what are you trying to do? Win points?
No, but Ray, let me ask you. Do you understand why some Phillies fans may be frustrated with this team?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, well, that's why I'm not going to say it's idiotic to get that text is over the top because he is frustrated. I guarantee you, tell him to text back that he's a big Phillies fan and he's frustrated.
Bill,
that's why you get that.
You frustrate me from time to time.
Yeah, you frustrate me too.
Now
you're afraid to call.
Don't you team up on me.
No, you're afraid to call a true idiot an idiot because what? You want to get a nasty chat board?
No,
situation?
Because what I'm saying is I understand where fans are frustrated, and to me, that text is less idiotic and it's more over the top frustration.
Yeah, but Bill, like I said, you frustrate me from time to time. If I went running to the Inquirer like this Bill guy's an idiot, a fraud, a loser, dumb, that would serve no purpose, right? It would be a stupid thing.
You're not doing anything
idiotic.
right now to to squash the
but it would
Ray
be,
hates
it
Bill
would be
thing.
idiotic to do that. Correct? That's
Yeah,
what
but
this texter's doing to us.
All right, so
This is their outlet. That's what sports talk
Yeah,
is.
and
We're
the
their
Inquirer would be
outlet.
my outlet for that.
So you guys had a little thing on Friday where people were.
I didn't think so.
I didn't think so either.
Okay, so
I thought it was pretty
explain.
tame.
Hold on to that thought. We're going to explain. There's this dynamic of Ray and Bill that people are picking up on in the Delaware Valley, and we'll be back to flesh that out in a little bit and maybe try to straighten it out. 610-632-0975 is how you climb in. And also, a mom apparently went viral because the camera was on her. She was watching her son play in the NCAA tournament. I watched the game. I got no reaction whatsoever.
I don't know.
I'm
You have to
fi-
explain this.
I'm trying to figure out, like, what did I miss? It's the Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Monday, March 24th. The
111, Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. If you want to get in, 610-632-0975. And guess who's checking in? Our old pal from Easton, Rick. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, Mikey. So, real quick, when you're a high-profile celebrity, you ask people not to contact
Yeah, leave
or
us
give you
alone. The
privacy.
paparazzi, they're all going to go home now.
First of all, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
But what's even more ridiculous is what makes you think you're going to get privacy when you ask for privacy.
That's what I'm thinking. You're actually inviting more intrusion.
So I agree with you. It's ridiculous to do the platoon. I agree with Bill on what he's saying. This is a long season. Look what happened last year. They come out like gangbusters, and the Dodgers eventually wheeled them in. Let Trey lead off for 30 days, then assist the situation, and then make a change if he falls on his face. But give it a shot. Give it a chance. Because, Mike, we've talked about this. Having Schwarber in the middle of the lineup gives you protection. It makes the whole lineup better. I get it that Schwarber is not the reason why the Phillies don't win rings. They win games with him, but they don't win championships because you're not putting Schwarber in the spot that he really should be in. Did Dave Kingman ever lead off?
Well, Dave King didn't get on base either, so he struck out.
Well, of course not. But he's our Dave Kingman. He walks, he hits home runs. Just put him in the cleanup spot just for 30 days, and then we'll assess the situation because then you have another 130 games to figure it out.
I get it. And the one thing you don't want to do, you put Turner in for like 3 games and he goes 0 for 12, and then you change it up. Yeah, but that's...
You're like a linebacker. When you see all this stuff go to the right, you got to stay home. Be patient for the first 30 games. That's all.
All right. You got it, Ricky.
See you, my brother. Love you.
Yeah, there's Rick from Easton.
Yeah, I agree with him. I mean, I just don't... The whole thing with Tiger, though, it's like, I understand what you're saying, that he's not going to get privacy, but I have no problem with someone asking for it.
First of all, I thought the laying down picture is a little cheesy. You don't think?
Let me see. I got to look it up. Tiger Woods. Let's see this picture of him.
Laying down on the hammock.
Oh, on the hammock with sunglasses on. And,
come on, man.
It's the caption for me.
Yeah, I mean, the reason that picture's cheesy is they had to give the camera to someone to take it, and then they had to pose that way and make her, all right, you hug me, I'm going to stare up at the sky. Like, yeah, that's a little bit cheesy.
That's all I'm saying.
But I'm a big Tiger guy.
All right. So the other thing we're talking about, Liam McNeely, a player for UConn. They kept cutting to his mother. Now, it's just like a mom to me. But somebody had, some cameraman had his eye on her because he kept shooting to her and it put her on camera constantly as her son was playing for UConn in a loss, by the way. So social media hopped all over it and said, yeah, Liam McNeely's mom, blah, 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 blah. And, so she became like a sensation.
Why?
Well, I don't know. Did I miss something? She's just a mom, right? Is that like Brent Musburger fussing over that Alabama girl?
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the social media responses too, saying like the infatuation by CBS with Liam
too far
McNeely's
over the
mom.
top.
Yeah, it's too
but
far. But
somebody also said Liam McNeely's mom is getting a lot of airtime, and frankly, she should.
Was he having a big game, McNeely?
Average game, but he made a couple shots at the end. But they were behind. They were trying to catch up.
Yeah, I don't get it.
All right, well, anyway.
But you didn't see the Jaden Daniels
to run
mom.
that by you.
You didn't see Jaden Daniels' mom story.
No, I did not see the Jaden Daniels mom story.
Like, well, apparently she won't let anybody date her son. Mm-hmm. Right? Isn't that what the story is, Ray? She doesn't want people dating her son.
Correct.
Protective mom. She figures some hussy will get her claws into him, and he needs to be focused. What?
My dad just took a shot at me.
He did?
So I said that it was corny that Tiger Woods made someone take the picture of them on the hammock.
Mm-hmm.
How about my dad coming at me? I expect this from you, Ray, not my dad. He texts me, kind of like setting up a tripod when you're about to get engaged. Because I set up a tripod and videoed myself proposing to my wife in Italy.
See, I was thinking of you this whole time because I think that you would be the type to do cheesiness. I think you would do cheesiness well. I think you do cheesiness a lot here.
So I am
referring to your wife a lot.
So I didn't post that. I mean, like, I wanted to capture the moment because I knew my wife would want that moment, and I'm glad that I did because we got video of it and everything.
You posted it?
But I am anti that type of post from Tiger. See, my mentality always, when couples go over the top, posting things on social media, it's because they're trying to convince the world and themselves that the relationship is better than it is. If you have a good relationship, you don't have to post stuff. In Tiger's case, it's because he's asking for privacy, so I get it. But I'm the other way. Like, I don't think the people I know who go over the top posting how much in love they are and all these pictures of them usually have the worst relationships. That's been my
all right, how about Tiger just posted, since there are a lot of rumors out there, yes, Bettina and I, what's her name?
Vanessa
and I are currently dating, and we're very happy, and I would appreciate privacy for my family.
Yeah, if he did,
that's it.
Just the picture on the left.
The hammock picture?
Yeah, just the picture on the left is fine. It's just them. The hammock picture makes it a little cheesy. I agree with you there. It's the hammock picture that puts it into the cheese level.
All right, that's all I'm saying.
But why is my dad taking a shot at me? I thought that was a nice thing I did. Setting up a tripod.
I thought it was a little cheesy.
Proposing to my wife in Italy. That was a beautiful moment.
It wasn't natural.
I would say a lot of people are hypocritical in the cheesy commentary. Like things you would rip your buddies for usually come back to bite you because usually you end
do
up.
It
yeah.
Yourself? Yeah. Would you do that? Are you schooled now that you've seen enough cheese to know not to? Because you look like a guy that would stay completely away from cheese.
No, I definitely would lean into it.
You would lean into it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, you would be a cheese ball, you're saying?
Probably.
In a relationship?
Probably.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait till Ray's in a relationship and gets cheese.
You're going to have to wait a long time,
I can't see
Billy
this,
boy.
Ray, because you run the risk of Bill coming at you, and in a little bit we're gonna explore this little dynamic that we have here with Bill and Ray. That's coming up. Here's how you get in: 610-632-0975.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Days away from opening day. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Delilah's. Don't miss any of the action on the ice and certainly any of the after party. Show your ticket at Delilah's for complimentary admission after every home game. Delilah's Gentlemen's Club, always on top. We are just a few days away from Phillies opening day as they open up their season in D.C. against the Nationals. Today marks the final spring training game for the Phillies. Roster decisions being made. Ranger Suarez is going to open the season on the injured list. Johan Rojas and Cody Clemens both have been told they're making the roster. And the Phillies claimed reliever Carlos Hernandez on waivers yesterday from the Royals. Last week on the Fanatic Hot Stove Show, Jason Stark joined the show and had high praise for this Phillies team going into 2025.
3 teams in the NL East: Phillies, Mets, Braves. Any of them could win. They all should make the playoffs. I think the Phillies, in a world where everybody is healthy, have the best roster and the best team.
They get the opportunity to begin proving that on Thursday, opening day down at D.C. against the Nationals. Elsewhere in Philadelphia sports, both the 76ers and Flyers lost yesterday. That's 4 in a row for the Sixers, 5 in a row for the Flyers. Sixers turn to action tonight in New Orleans against Pelicans at 8 o'clock. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's brought to you by Dairy Queen. Just 85 cents with $1 purchase in the DQ app. It's a dream come true. Hurry and get your small Blizzard treat for just 85 cents with a $1 purchase when you sign up for DQ Rewards. I'm Ray Dunn, the home of the 76ers and the Flyers. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Show 97.5, The Fanatic. The Sixers lost to the Hawks last night, and they're on a back-to-back tonight in New Orleans against the Pels. The Pelicans are a 6.5-point favorite. Ooh. Must-lost situation, but the Pels are sitting at 19 wins.
Yeah.
Do you want to win this game?
The next few games are going to be tight for those wanting the Sixers to lose.
Can Quentin Grimes rescue the Sixers tonight in New Orleans?
Quentin Grimes could do anything, Mike.
Yeah, he's your boy. Flyers, how'd they make out? Can we play the hockey horn? Can we play the horn?
They did get a point.
There we go.
They went to OT.
And lost in 9 seconds. No.
Yeah, they did, but that was Saturday.
The Blackhawks smashed them.
Yeah, then they got.
What are you talking? Did you miss a Flyers game? You're talking about the Dallas game.
I was talking about Saturday's game. Yeah, yesterday they got smoked by the Blackhawks. Or
Right.
no, wait,
Yes.
I'm wrong.
Yes, they got beat by the Blackhawks.
Yeah, you're right.
6 goals against the Blackhawks.
7.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I will admit, as big of a hockey guy as I am, with the NCAA tournament on, I haven't watched hockey.
I don't know if I can believe this.
I haven't
It's a
watched
total violation. Bill Colarulo, a season ticket holder, who is not in on a Flyers game. Have you finally lost your zeal?
Yeah, they're done, man. They're done.
Man.
They're absolutely done. They have, in their last 10, they're 1-8-1. I think they've lost like 13 of 14, something ridiculous. They're in a total tank right now. But I got to switch gears for a second because no one cares about the Flyers. No one cares about the Sixers.
I was just mentioning the scores there. What gear are you switching to?
I got to switch to Taijuan Walker. So he's on the mound today.
Pitching today?
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
How about this stat line so far? 2 innings pitched, 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks. Oh, he does got the 1 strikeout though. Oh, it's going to be a fun 5th game. Every time Walker's on the mound.
They can't. They just can't. You see, you can't be this kind of an organization that is expected to contend for something and have that happen. You just can't.
Oh, man, this is bad.
And by the way, they DFA'd your boy from Eustis.
They did, Tyler Phillips. And I don't think he has any options
Yeah,
left.
they can bring him back. If he clears waivers, they can bring him back. Stash him in AAA.
You think a team will pick him up? Stud, man.
No,
Look at that pedigree. Bishop Eustace.
Nobody will pick him up. He'll be back in AAA with the Phillies.
It's great
I think they might
pedigree.
pick him up. Not for the pedigree. The fact that he's an arm.
Bishop Eustace.
Let's get to the bottom of this. I heard this as I came in today. If they're missing a day on Friday, apparently there are a lot of people that have picked up on the Ray does not like Bill situation. And Bill, why don't you try to explain what you were hearing from your own friends?
Yes. So Friday we hosted the show. Ray slid into this chair since you weren't feeling too well. And we did 4 hours, and I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, Ray has been a lot worse in terms of making people think he doesn't like me. But for whatever reason, multiple people reach out to me after Friday's show to say, yo, that's not a shtick, man. He makes it clear he doesn't like you. Some even went as far as, yo, you need to put him in his place. And I was like, he does not hate me. Oh, dude, you didn't. I don't know if you were listening because sometimes you weren't responding. He was saying stuff under his breath. He was taking shots at you every opportunity he got. You need to put that kid in his place. And I'm like, I really didn't think it was that bad, but am I being naive? Like, to our callers, to our YouTube chat, am I being naive? Does Ray put out that negative of a vibe towards me? Should I be offended here, Ray?
I'm a little offended. Because if they think I've taken a shot at you every time I've thought about taking a shot at you, they're underestimating me and my ability to take a shot at you. They're not listening close enough to you to know that there's way more opportunities to take shots at you than I take shots at you.
I think people listen and they say, wow, that Bill guy is a nice guy. And Ray is just a cocky young kid who keeps going back at him for no reason. That's what I think is being said.
They're good friends you have.
Would you like me to weigh in on this? Because I'm an impartial observer.
Oh, man.
Bill, first of all, I think you can be very naive. I think you would be the type of guy who would walk down Fifth Avenue There'd be a guy with 4 bullet holes bleeding out of every orifice, and you would not even notice. I think you're that type of guy because you didn't even notice there was a double towel coming out of the thing.
I just brought in the paper towel from the bathroom that I got. I have no idea what you guys are talking about. It was one.
I think Impractical Jokers
towel.
just exchanged it so when you went in there because we've been getting double towels for the last several weeks and you didn't even notice.
I did not notice.
So I don't think you do notice that Ray is not exactly enamored with your style.
So say, Ray, Mike is saying that you do have issues.
I've said this many times before. We've talked about this, whether it be with station management, the corporate people that forced us into that retreat to go get coffee, and my representation. All of them have advised me not to comment further on how I feel about our personal relationship. Our working relationship is fine. From the hours of 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., you can find me sitting in this chair. And honestly, even in the 9 o'clock hour, you can find me sitting at my desk.
So this was actually...
I'll say this. I don't think you're Ray's type of cat.
All right, so this is exactly what came up, and one of the people I spoke to, what Ray just did, because I asked you on the air on Friday, people think you hate me or something, and I said, Ray, why don't you just put an end to this now? And you said, my representatives have advised me not to discuss this on air, and they took that seriously. You see, they took it seriously, and they're like, we don't think it's a funny shtick. It's actually uncomfortable. And I'm like, no, he doesn't actually hate
Life is uncomfortable. This world is uncomfortable. All right, people? If you listen to this show just for comfort, prepare yourselves.
Mike is, what do they call that? Stoking the flames or whatever.
I'm just observing. And when I observe, I put these little glasses on to observe. I'll observe a little closer.
Now,
I'm observing that you guys come from 2 different worlds. You come from a meatheadish world, Bill. And Ray comes from a little more of a cerebral.
I do think that the meathead description of me is so off. So off.
I'm saying meatheadish type of world.
Like, yes, do I go to the gym? Yes. Do I eat healthy and eat kind bars? Yes.
You're more of a bro than Ray is. Ray is a more sophisticated gent. You're more of a,
It's just funny because in my past life, 15 years, starting a law firm, growing a law firm, doing all these things, I don't know if there was a single person who would have said, yeah, that Bill's a meathead. And then I come into this world, and now I got this shtick of being a meathead that Ray doesn't like. How did this happen? What's happened in the last year and a half?
You gave it up. You gave it away. Now you're a sports guy, and so you've morphed into, Bluto.
Now, MBD may have hit the nail on the head in the YouTube chat. Is Bill jealous of Ray's hairline? 610-632. That I will agree to. I am very jealous of Ray's hairline.
The dynamic is perfectly tremendous working with. Everybody's got different dynamic. But if I were to venture an examination here, a sociological examination, I would say that you guys come from 2 different worlds.
I think Ray and I are a lot more similar than you would think.
I don't think so.
I think we both have 1,500 SAT scores. Nah, I wish I didn't have a 1,500 SAT.
You took it twice, and it added up to 1,500. So you're right about that.
Did you take any sort of prep course for the SAT?
No.
See, me either. I didn't do that either. A lot of people did. I probably should have.
Take a prep course for the LSAT?
I did. I did a prep course for the LSAT. And of course, for the bar.
Okay.
You have to.
Yeah.
You're not passing it otherwise. Anyway, Ray, the reason that we brought this up, though, is there are a lot of people out there who think that this shtick is real. So maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We're not going to end it. But I will say this. Wednesday night, it's on, Ray. If I'm behind you and you miss a ball and we're both going up for a rebound,
vicious.
It's all on the line, man.
This is vicious.
It's all on the line.
We got to make sure that happens.
I want to say to your friends, to the people that reached out to you, it's very nice of you to be concerned about Bill. It's very nice of you to be worried about him. He's a big boy. He can deal with his work problems by himself. All right?
Yeah, there were a lot of people. Well, there were a lot of people who
listening.
A lot of people who were advocating for me to put you in your place, and I said, "What does that even mean?
Yeah, what
He's
does
a
that
nice
mean?
kid."
What does that mean?
Yeah, put him in his place. I go, "What are you talking about? We had a nice show. I don't even think in those 4 hours, Ray, that we went at it at all. It was a nice conversation." Things have been worse.
I think I might have taken a shot at you for the Kind Bar thing, but you were complaining. Oh, it's a breakfast Kind Bar. It's not my usual protein Kind Bar. If you weren't rolling your eyes,
stop right there.
There it was.
This defines the divide. Okay, you got the Kind Bar. It's a big thing in your world if you didn't get the right Kind Bar, and me and Ray look at it like, so there's the divide.
So in my defense on the whole Kind Bar conversation, my Kind Bars get delivered on a recurring delivery through Amazon, and they were a little delayed. So I had to go to the store and get different ones, and they didn't have the ones that I always get. And these ones had a little bit more in them. They were like a breakfast type of bar, and they maybe a little bit too much fiber, if you know where I'm going.
I don't know where you're going. I have no idea where you're going with the Kind Bar situation. But let's take a break, and we'll go back to our text board. If you want to squeeze in a call before we get out of here, it's been a fun show. I've been having fun my first day back. Now I'm going to be sick for two more days. 610-632-0975. Back after this.
Tyrone Johnson.
97.5, The Fanatic. Yeah. All right, so we got some tweets coming in that apparently are on your side, Bill, that say that Ray is actually bullying you.
Wow.
Ray, what did that tweet say?
Just that. Someone decided they were just going to text in, Ray is bullying Bill. That's all they have for me.
Ray
You
is
see?
bullying you.
What I have to deal with, not only do I have to deal with Mike on a daily basis, I got to deal with you too.
Trying to figure out where Ray would be, what you did would be mount the bullying. How have you bullied?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
Do you feel bullied by Ray, Bill, at times?
No. I'm serious. I didn't even think twice. That's why I said after the show on Friday, I was a little surprised that people said what they said about Ray, because I didn't think it was that. Maybe I'm just so used to it. Maybe I have, like, what is that?
I think, first
Stockholm Syndrome?
I think it's a really good dynamic that we have here with the three personalities. My guess would be that Ray, like, if you were at Temple, going to Temple with Ray would not pick you out as a bud to hang out with.
I disagree.
You would be at the opposite fraternity, where Ray would be down the other end.
I disagree. See,
What
one
do
thing
you think, Ray?
I pride myself on, usually get along with everybody. I don't alienate anyone.
See,
so me and Ray would be friends if
Ray
we were the same
Ray
age.
would never say, I get along with everybody. He would never say that. Ray would say, I get along with everybody.
What I say, wit?
Yeah,
Said I get along with everybody.
You say wit all the time, but that's, it's okay.
Whiz-wit?
It's a Philadelphia thing. But Ray is a wordsmith. He wouldn't be saying wit. That's all I'm trying to describe, the difference that you two have.
Ray and I wouldn't be friends because of the way we use the term wit?
You're a backwards hat bro type of wit guy, and Ray is not.
Ray, you ever rock a backwards hat?
I have, not frequently,
Well,
mostly ironically.
Ray is 24. He's allowed. He's in that age group that can rock a backwards hat.
Actually,
I mean, I also got the
yesterday
hair.
Yesterday, I went to the supermarket. I was rocking a backwards hat. You're right.
Oh, you were rocking one here yesterday when you were on the air.
That's right, I was.
Uh-huh. And notice, I didn't say anything about it on air. I didn't say anything about behind the scenes. I just let that one go by. So I don't take every shot possible at you.
I do think
choose.
I think Mike's off with that, though. That men my age can't wear a backwards hat. Because the difference is, when I was growing up, is when the backwards hat style was big. So it continued on with my generation. I don't think I have to stop wearing a backwards hat because I just am 41 now.
Yeah, you do.
I don't agree with it.
Yeah, you do.
I don't agree.
There's an age cutoff for the backwards hat. We often lean to live by these rules, or else there's anarchy and chaos. You gotta have certain decorum.
I would have been friends with Bill.
Oh, look at that. He's trying to throw a nice thing out.
I would have shown up to the party Saturday, would have given him a nice, hey, man, good to see you.
He would have been your...
We would have been opposite sides of the party, but I would be
your
friends.
bro jock friend? Your one bro jock friend he would be?
He would be like that guy you see on weekends that it's really only going to last the 4 years you're at college. And if you run into him in the city, it's not a bad thing to run into him in the city, but it's like, what do we talk about at this point? We did the 4 years together. It was fun. It's over now.
What I used to get a lot at college, and maybe this was because... and I was a lot bigger then. I used to get, when I would finally meet someone or start talking to them, most of the time would be like, man, we thought you were going to be a complete beephole, and you're not like that at all. That's what I would get a lot. So maybe I give that off. Maybe that's the vibe that I give
I mean,
off.
like, first impression, yeah, you could give a little bit of that off. Yeah, for sure.
That's interesting. I probably am the furthest thing from that type of personality.
Self-aware, too.
So, all right, I'm done. I'm done.
All right,
Ray with the subtle shots.
What else do we have on the text board?
We got people now weighing on the backwards hat thing. Jim from Satterton, Bill, 100% you should have stopped wearing a backwards hat years ago.
I'm curious, how old is Jim from Satterton? No, really, how old is Jim from Satterton, I wonder? Because I think people who are older than me would say that.
Jim is older than you.
But people who are my age, who grew up with the backwards hat as a thing, still rock a backwards hat at 40. Like, I guarantee you, men who are in their 40s, majority of them would agree with me it's still okay to wear
It's not okay. That's the point. The fact that they think it's okay is the not okay part.
That's coming from someone who's older than 40.
No, listen, I wore a backwards hat, and then I got to be 30, 32, and I go, this is like, it's too bro-ish. And so there's a time, I think the cutoff is 35. Done. Should be done.
What's the difference between 35 and 40?
I have these hard and fast rules. You shouldn't get married until you're 30. You shouldn't wear a backwards hat after 35. Little things that help keep your life in order, Bill.
All right, Matt Gallagher on YouTube. 100% okay. I'm 43.
And to be clear, I'm not silencing the people that support Bill. There are people in the text line that support Bill. We got Bo and Skip back saying 100% backwards hat is allowed if you grew up in that era. I'm 43 and still do.
Yeah, no. It's not.
Yeah, and then TUL, 42. Definitely still rock a backwards hat.
Of course,
it's an age thing.
People that rock the backwards hat are going to give you support. They don't want to admit that they're bobos either.
I'm saying that people in your age bracket would think you're too old to rock a backwards hat when you're talking about the 40-year-olds. The 40-year-olds think it's okay.
Yeah, Bill, it's not.
But again, you can't.
Bill,
you're giving an opinion on a guy who's older.
It's not opinion. It's more. It's research. It's like sociological research. Bill, Bill, your life will go on. It's okay. Your life will be fine. You don't need the backwards hat anymore, Bill. Okay, you don't need it. All right, let's move on to the NCAA tournament field. I'm curious to know how you guys feel now that they're down to the Sweet 16. So, Bill, you got Auburn, Michigan left, number 1 seed versus the upstart Michigan Wolverines, who are playing very well. They took out UC San Diego and Texas A&M, which was a higher seed, against Auburn, the number 1 seed.
Yeah, Michigan's
like
done.
In the move?
Michigan's
out?
Yeah, Auburn wins out.
All right, we're going to have to look at these lines. Let's see.
I got it.
What do you got?
So Auburn is, I thought I had it. Yeah, they're a 7.5-point favorite over Michigan.
I'll take Auburn to cover that. Ole Miss, Michigan State. Interesting.
Ole Miss, Michigan State is only a 3.5-point line. Michigan State's favorite.
Favored by 3. I'm going to pass on that one. Florida and Maryland, an interesting game here. Florida, they were on their heels, but they survived, and now they're up against a pretty hot team in the Maryland Terrapins, who came off the thrilling victory over Colorado State. How you feel about that? What's the line?
6.5-point favorites, the Gators are. And I think they win. As much as I want Maryland to win, because I have them in our little
I'm thinking
thing.
That might be the lock of the week, Florida, Maryland. And then finally, on that side of the bracket, Texas Tech, which defeated UNC Wilmington and then Drake by 13 against John Calipari's Arkansas Razorbacks, a hot team in the tournament. What's the line?
5.5. Texas Tech is favored. I think Arkansas, that was their championship.
I happen to agree with you on that one. All right, let's move over to the other side of the bracket. Duke and Arizona. Oh, like the old days. The Dukies against Arizona. I'm thinking Duke is 8.5.
Spot on. 8.5 points.
8.5. All right. Let's move on to BYU and Alabama. I got Bama 3.5 here.
4.5.
All right, that's pretty close. I like Alabama actually get to the Final Four, so I think BYU's run is done against a much more athletic team. Houston and Purdue, a grudge match, tough defenders in both of these games. I got to think Houston may be close to a double digits favorite.
7.5-point favorite.
7.5-point favorite, and then Tennessee and Kentucky. This is my play of the week. Tennessee, I'll take Tennessee to cover. They're probably a slight favorite. I'll go 2.5.
4.5 on FanDuel.
4.5 for Tennessee. That tells me a lot. I like the Vols to advance in that. All right.
Yep. Wait, who do you have winning it all? Did you go Duke or Florida? Oh, you went Duke.
Yeah, I think I had Duke winning it all.
And Ray, you got Duke as well?
I also had Duke. Yep.
But Tennessee can give them a run. Duke's just too strong. All right, let's get to the text board for the last few minutes of this particular program.
Still a lot of debate, just raging over this backwards hat thing.
Oh, okay. All right, give me the backwards hat. Listen, folks, Trust me when I tell you. It's a gauche look when you're over 40, 45, you're 50. See 50-year-old guys wearing a backwards hat. Come on.
See, here's where,
Come on now.
And I like the way you dress, so I'm not taking a shot. But you don't dress your age. You dress like a younger man. So why are you against wear a backwards hat?
Because the backwards hat is dated after 35. That's why.
Yeah, but you could say the same thing about being stylish.
Where do I wear? What am I wearing that's so young? It's a long sleeve T-shirt.
The jeans you wear sometimes, would you say it's a younger man jean?
I wear that one pair of jeans that I probably shouldn't have bought. The gray ones you're talking about?
You wear those.
The felt type
But I think that's completely okay.
No.
I think it's okay.
I have phased those out.
I think it's okay to dress however you feel comfortable dressing.
Yeah, your backwards hat is just over the top. It's just not a thing.
Dude, we got a lot of people weighing in on this. Even Casey Boy.
A lot of people.
Even Casey Boy weighed in.
Well, Casey Boy wears a backwards hat.
Exactly.
Well, that's what
He's
I mean.
on my side.
The people that buy the backwards hat have not taken inventory of that it's gauche after a certain age. That's all I'm saying. You got to look within yourself and say, listen, I can't wear the Speedo anymore. You know?
That's a little different. That may be weight related. I think the backwards hat's fine. And in fact, as a protest, I believe I will be wearing a backwards hat tomorrow's show.
Yeah, go on, do that. And
Ray, I would encourage you to join me.
What if I wear one too?
There we go. We'll all rock them.
Well, we'll rock the backwards hats for tomorrow. Just in honor of the backwards hat. All right, today was a fun show. You glad to have me back, or you want me to go back to sick bed?
Well, I need you back because apparently when it's just me and Ray, people are losing their minds
uncomfortable
about the hatred.
It was uncomfortable. I'm the balance.
Yeah, thank God.
What's the Phillies score? Taijuan Walker out of there yet?
Let me see. Real quick. 4-3 still. So
4-3. Taijuan's still in the game?
And Walker is done.
He's out?
4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 earned runs.
He pitched 4 innings?
3 walks, 2 Ks. He made it 4 innings. Made it 4. So 2 scoreless innings from Taijuan.
Did he give up a home run?
No home runs.
All right. Well.
That's your first business person special.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
He'll be the business person special starter?
Yes, 105 that Thursday. You will have a chance to react live on the air to watching Taijuan Walker pitch.
Reduce the price.
Well, the question is, me and Ray asked this on Friday. Business person special, 105 first pitch. Is Taijuan Walker still on the mound by the time our show ends? That's the question.
Yeah, he'll
They're going to force him to. I told you, the Dodgers series starts the next day. Taijuan's throwing 120 pitches no matter what happens.
Poor guy. They have no answer for that spot, nor do they have an answer for platoon in left field. It's a contending team. Come on, Dave. It's ridiculous. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody, listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a great rest of the night. This is the Mike Missanelli Show. Saying see ya.
They'll get their first chance to prove that on Thursday down there in D.C. against the Nationals for opening day. Elsewhere in Philly sports, both the 76ers and Flyers lost yesterday. That's 4 in a row for the Sixers, 5 in a row for the Flyers. Sixers return to action tonight in New Orleans against Pelicans at 8 o'clock. You can hear the game right here